What's up, everybody? It's your boy Smellsworth. This is the Saltcast, the official podcast of the Salt Mine 1v1 tournament series. It's co-hosted by myself and the show match god, Johnny Boy. Each week, we interview pros and figureheads from the Rocket League community to find out their backstories and how they got to where they are now. The show is recorded live on my Twitch channel at twitch.tv/smellsworthless every Tuesday or Wednesday. So sometimes you might hear references to the chat or the inevitability of me messing up audio production, and occasionally something doesn't translate well to audio. Stick with us. We're getting better at these things every show, and if you'd like to, obviously come by and catch the show live every week. The show will be published on all podcasting platforms, YouTube, and on Twitch. If we happen to miss your platform, send me a message. We'll fix it right away. You can find all these releases, the stream schedule, and more at my site, smelly.af. That's right, smelly.af. Now it's time to enjoy the show. Ferra! Hold on. Don't say anything. I haven't unmuted you yet. Okay, you guys can talk now. You're good.
Wow. That was something, man. Well done. I like that a lot.
How unscuffed am I tonight?
You should do the intros for RLCS like every week like this. Psyonix need to.
It's a really good idea, Johnny.
Rendition.
That's a super good
I'm sure
idea.
They would sign you up.
Perfect.
Farrah. Imagine like match intros like that for every game. It would be crazy.
Farrah, how are you, dude? Let's get a mic check on Farrah.
I'm pretty good. How about you?
Woo! I'm really good. I am.
I bet you Farrah's quiet. We're gonna have to wait and see.
You are quiet.
You might have to turn me down.
Yeah, as per usual, I have to.
There you go.
Put the mic very close to my mouth.
Yeah, I used to work with a guy who would scream at people and he'd say, "Eat the mic." So I can do that. I can do that tonight. So, welcome, boys. How was your stream, Johnny? Seemed like a banger.
It was fun. Yeah, I remembered. I did a replay review, I just did a replay cast of Khaled versus Jack for Khaled's 1800 game. But I remember when I was looking for that game, I found 5 other ones that were all from 4 days before then of Khaled versus Jack again. But they were obviously, they just happened to be in a perfect series format, as in, spoiler alert, it went back and forth until game 5. So I just casted all 5 of those.
That's
actually scripted.
That's different than your normal scripts, though. Right?
Yeah, this is actually scripted, not live scripting. It's just
Excellent.
But they were. I put them. I didn't have to reshuffle them or anything. They were chronological order, so that was fun.
Lovely.
I wanted to give Jack something back there because obviously he lost the 1800 game to. Well, he lost to Khaled to give Khaled 1800, but in that best of 5 he beat him. So
you know what? People tend to do that. People tend to lose to Khaled, so no big deal.
Yeah, well, he beat him in this one, so it's a big deal when he does, right? Yep. If you beat him.
How about your ones game, Farrah? You've been playing many ones lately.
Yeah, man, I'm grinding every day. No, no.
When did you stop? Because you used to play ones.
Yeah,
I used to play, but as soon as I lost to JC in the best of,
I knew it.
I was like, yeah, I'm done. No, but like. I used to play a lot back in the days, but then I don't know the tournament and stuff. I just wanted to focus on threes and I think like I got frustrated with the game mode. Like I don't like I think they could do it better if if like each goal after each goal, like each kickoff was the way Hitseeker does. I was like, oh, that could be cool.
The kickoff starts with the team who gets scored on.
Yeah, I don't like the kickoffs in one, and I feel like a huge portion of the goals come from kickoff.
I would love to see that. Yeah, I would love to see a 1v1 match where it's like heat seeker kickoffs, where the ball bounces as well.
Yeah,
I kind of like that because it's not a dead ball.
Because it does not feel fun for me, so I'd rather play other stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Like at the very highest level, obviously kickoffs are usually pretty even. Like most of the series that we've casted of like grand finals and big tournaments, there's no clear advantage, but still, I think it would be cool to see the bouncy ball start. Like it's a bit more interesting,
right? There's some goals that are scored, right? Like in every.
Yeah. There's always a few kickoff goals, or not even like a kickoff goal, but a very strong kickoff where somebody's just like got a huge advantage from the very start. So it's like the other guy's fighting back, which is interesting in and of itself. But I still agree. I'd love to see little bounce ball heat seeker.
I mean, if they did it, they did it for heat seekers, so they should be able to do it for once, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think they'll do it. I think. I think they like the way it is right now. So
well, kickoff is like it's a really cool graphical thing, and I think it gets people who haven't played Rocket League before really interested in it because they always have these graphics where there's like 7 cars going for the ball. You're like, what is even going on here? It's a 3v3 and there's 7 cars going for the kickoff. It's like
right.
possible that everybody who watches for the first time or they see that graphic, they're like, man, I want to play that game. And of course, kickoffs in bronze, everybody's going for the ball. It's just like this really, it's a thing that's associated with Rocket League now. So I don't think they can, especially for 3v3. I think we're stuck with kickoffs.
It would be cool if there was a way to do it with mutators or with like custom map or something along those lines. Like, I'm hoping that they open that stuff up a bit more because I think we could get more innovation because it's not trivial for them to change the entire ones mode kickoff for all the players that play it, right? That do like it. Like it's a big change. So it would be cool if there were some more ways that we could, innovate with game types and maybe even the way that like I guess they kind of do it this way with like Heat Seeker and whatnot, but the way the Call of Duty does it, they have like these different random game modes that show up.
Well, Heat Seeker's sick.
It's sick. It's just I wish it was ranked. Like it's
ranked Heat Seeker would be cool, yeah.
Because you play unranked and people just leave, and it's like it removes all the competitive aspect of. At least for me, I am really not a fan of unranked.
I'm not a fan of people being allowed to leave whenever they want in unranked. I think if you queue up for unranked, you should have to play out the game. I think you should have to. Because right now everybody just like joins and then we conceded, I'm leaving. And then it's a bot in there. I don't like that. Because it's Rocket League is such a short game anyway. If you can't, you should be able to commit like 5 minutes of your life to play a Rocket League game, I reckon.
Speaking of committing your life, Ferra, how long have you been playing Rocket League for, buddy?
5 years now. I started like 1 month after release, I think. Just 1 month after, yeah. So yeah, it's been a very long time. I didn't think I would make it this far, like half a decade already.
Mm-hmm.
That is crazy.
The early days were interesting. The first team that I noticed you on was with Fairy Peak and Brecker. I remember. Is that how you say his name? That was the first team that I was like, oh yeah. So there's like a full French lineup. Ferra, Fairy Peak. You were the two names I recognized from seeing high up on leaderboards, and I knew I'd seen Fairy Peak playing with K-Dop a bunch.
So we're playing a lot of the twos, like the Definity twos.
Definities, yeah. I'd seen you guys before quite a lot, but how was that team, Fairy Peak and Brecker? Would you say it's the first team that you kind of were competitive on?
I had a team before, but yeah, I think that was the first one where we actually got really good results. I think we beat Supersonic Avengers in one Definity finals.
Yeah, you did.
We got far, and I think we expected to make it to LCS in season 2, and we dropped out really early of the qualification tournament, and that was really disappointing because I feel like we were a better team than at least 2 or 3 of the teams that qualified that day. But you gotta make it. So yeah, and then after that, Fairy Peak got picked up by K-Dop, and I was left scrambling.
You were the leftover player.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, you're actually way ahead of me here because I did some research before this to make sure I was right on all that I remembered.
Johnny wrote down literally every result of every match that you have. Basically, we have a notes doc here, and I was literally like, are you just copying and pasting all of Liquidpedia for this interview? And he's like, this is important. I'm gonna know all the details. So it just
reminds me of what happened because when I see this and I'm like, oh yeah, you teamed to this guy or you had this result and then Fairy Peak left or whatever. But I was remembering this exactly. Or I wrote all this down and you've just basically told that story. So really good job there, saving me the time. Ferra remembers it pretty well apparently, even though that was ages ago. Between season 2 and 3, Fairy Peak got sniped by K-Dop.
I mean, I did not have many teams, so yeah, I remember all of them. So
yeah. But what was the deal with the Fairy Peak K-Dop situation? Because were you hoping they'd take you as well? Because it was just the 2 of them for a while. Then they picked up Mystic as well. What was going on?
Yeah, I don't know. I think K-Dop was not considering me good back then. He was there is this Fairy Peak guy. He always beats me in 2s.
Yeah,
but he was beating him with me as well. But he was only considering him. So yeah, I played a tournament with them, but that was not really tryouts. It was most fun and stuff. I think they were just looking for a very high profile experienced player, and they tried a lot of the the guys that had already lots of experience, like Mystic, Snasky.
He was
and
like
stuff.
third place at season 2, right? Mystic, or was he?
Yeah, he was.
Yeah,
He
third
played
place
with
season 2.
Northern Gaming. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So
obviously, I mean, that's like pretty high profile. So I guess K-Dop just wanted to get the most.
I guess I don't know. Yeah, but I think back in the day, he was not seeing me as a good player, so he just didn't think.
What
too
about
much of it.
now?
Yeah, I guess I don't know. I hope he does, but I mean, I'm still not even close to what he has achieved. So
Oh, not many people are, so it's not like
maybe one day,
maybe one day.
Maybe one day.
I hope so. But yeah, Fairy Peak and K-Dop teamed up. That left you leftover. So you joined the leftovers with the other leftover players, Snasky and Siki. But from like nothing, you guys did really well. You got top 2 in league play, 3rd place in playoffs, 4th place at Worlds, beating the defending champions F3 in the lower bracket. Like,
yeah,
what happened there? Were you guys just like proving a point that you're more
honestly,
than leftovers?
I don't know. That was probably destiny. I don't know, because like there is a deeper story to that. Is that actually I did not have a team like one day prior the end of the deadline, the registration.
Oh wow, yeah, registration.
And at the end of the day, I was even looking to sub for like some random teams, because like no one, like I was trying to get in a team with Moot, but no one wanted to come with us for some reason. Like we were doing really good in tournaments and stuff, but no one wanted to come with us. And at some point, Snasky contacted Moot and he was like, "Do you want to come? Because we don't like playing with Continuum." And Moot was like, "Yeah, I mean, I think I'm gonna go with them. We're not gonna find. And I was like, "Yeah, sure, go ahead." And I was left alone. And then like later that night, I stayed up really long. Like I think the registration closed at 9 a.m. and I was still up by around 2 or 3. And I just crapped a team with Freezich and Ignite, I think. Like like we played like 10 run games and we were like, I mean, good enough, but I did not have any hopes for that team. And then like Snasky contacts me like at 4 a.m. and he's like, "Dude, actually, like some people are telling me you're better than Mood, so do you want to come?" Yeah. Dude, he's like, "Do you want to come? Do you want to come? And we're gonna like do a like 4-man roster or something, but you're gonna get the main spot. And like if things go bad, you'll get replaced. But if things go well, we'll get you on the main roster." And then like. So then I started playing with them, and like I think the first scrim I ever did with them, I was so good, like I could not miss a single thing, and I was like, okay, that's I mean that's settled then. Yeah. Then we played a few tournaments.
Yeah,
and,
that's right.
So the name is a bit of a lie then. I mean, you guys were like this elite club, you know. You were pushing other people into the leftover category.
Yeah. Mike was the leftover, which is crazy. That's like.
He still came with us in Los Angeles, but like and then the season was, I mean everything, even from the qualifiers, like our games were so close. We almost got like eliminated. We almost dropped in the lower bracket in day 1. Like back in the days you were playing best of 3 in the first day, I guess, like random teams, and we almost lost. We almost lost. We had to come back at like 5 seconds or something, and and we qualified somehow. And then the whole season happened, and then it's like, I don't know, like river sweep, like game 5 all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm just enjoying it all the way. It's like I really thought that was gonna be my only season back then, because I was like, I mean, with the way things were going, I'm like, this is the one, but it's gonna be the only one, right? So. And then we made LAN, and I was just I think that I've never screamed so hard in my life, because I think we qualified on like in a game 5 overtime after every sweep against Gale Force, and I was like so freaked out. It's just, that was just insane. I was rolling on the floor, like I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like like that was crazy. I actually could not believe we qualified. So
that's mad. Craziness. I'm trying to time out this Twitch link in your chat, but I'm struggling. I can't do it. Somebody's just like advertising another Twitch. That's kind of like, I don't know. It's kind of scummy. I don't know about that.
Oh, hey, Moobot jumped into action. Nice work, Moobot.
Oh no, I permitted, actually.
What?
I tried to
bean, man. Complete bean.
Oh really? They didn't tell me time out.
Ferra, what part of France are you from? Are you from the Paris
from
region?
Paris.
You are, okay.
Yeah, I've lived there my whole life pretty much.
Wow. The true Parisian.
Yeah.
You seem so nice. What's wrong? You're not sticking to your
Yeah.
roots. Nah, I'm just kidding. I think it's a little, in the U.S. as well. Like everybody says, all New Yorkers are mean and rude and whatever. It's
a big city.
It's just the cool people that live in the city like us. We just develop a sense of taste that doesn't always include people from the countryside. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Ferra doesn't look like he's on board with this line of thinking at all.
Yeah. Well, that's par for the course.
I wanted to ask you, Ferra. So that season 3, right, went really well with leftovers, but then you were just like, "Nah, I'm out." Joining Bluey and Chaussette with Frontline for season 4. What happened?
That did not go that way. I wanted to Chaussette in the after the season ended. He was like, "Do you want to team up with me?" Because we started playing together during season 3, like at night and stuff, doing ranked and stuff, and we had fun. But I was still in the team, and I was like, "No, man, I think I'm gonna keep playing with my team. Like we're doing good." And like for now, I'm not gonna leave that. Like I'm not gonna be the one that leaves it, right? And then like I don't know, a few weeks later, we get invited to the X Games, and I'm like, dude, that's huge, right? Like huge, like that was probably the second biggest tournament there was in Rocket League back then.
Yeah.
And like 2 weeks before the event, like I'm being told they're like getting Pondex instead of me, and I'm like, dude, what the fuck?
Oh yeah, they replaced you. Oh,
Yeah,
sorry. I
like
totally forgot that.
yeah, they kicked me, and I was like, dude, that's I did not take that very well because I did not feel that was fair. And yeah, so then after that, I was like, yeah, well, she said, you know what? Actually, I kind of want to team up with you now. And yeah, after like a few, he was still teaming with Jaza and Krazak, and lucky for me, I think Krazak did not want to play competitively, so that team disbanded, and then we started looking up for thirds, and yeah, we found Bluey. Who
was Bluey just like turned 15 or something at the time?
No, I think he played once one season.
One season before,
but
okay.
yeah, with Doomsy and Sebaram, I think the season before, and they
true.
did not qualify. They did not qualify.
That's right. So yeah, that team, that was like the team that you were finally on for a long time.
Yeah,
like you three as a
Yeah.
roster.
I mean,
And, like,
technically, that's still the same roster. I mean, today it's just we changed players a couple of times.
yeah, but yeah, you and Chaussette since then, like since season 4, have been teammates. You just changed third a couple of times. But Bluey was like, he was on your roster for a while, and like, I think that this was kind of proof because you got, Fairy Peak left you to play with K-Dop, and then you bounced back. You're on a good team leftovers. Then they dropped you for Pondex, but then you actually showed up with a new team that were better than them. So that was the point where I guess people were like, actually, why is this Ferra guy getting left out of all these teams? He keeps on doing really well in all these tournaments. Maybe he's not the problem, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, the Blue Chaussette roster, so even that exceeded expectations so much. Like, you guys got second in league play in season 4, second at Gnarly, beating NRG 2 times. You beat Gale Force again. You beat them in league play, beat them at Gnarly. You only lost to Cloud9 at Gnarly. And then it was all going great until the Worlds. Well, I guess Worlds didn't go too badly either. You came 5th, 6th, but you beat Cloud9. So that's revenge on the Gnarly result. You swept CJ's team, which has got to feel pretty good. But then you just lost to Method, who came second. And you lost to G2. That was, I guess, the disappointing result.
Yeah, I think that tournament I honestly think that was one of the 2 times where our roster could have won it. Because I think we were like very close. I think we were like a top 3 team back then. But then, we beat Cloud9, who ended up finishing third, right?
Yes.
And we go against Method, and I think that game 5. I mean, if we switch the result, I think we go. I mean, obviously we go very far, but yeah, we lose in game 5 against Method, and then we drop down to the losers, and we like that game. That I think I remember it very clearly. Like the game against G2 was really hard because in Washington, everyone was rooting for them, and that was kind of the first time for like both Chaussette and Bluey in a LAN, and even for me, I never like back in Los Angeles, that was like the cool atmosphere. I was just here for fun. In Washington, we had some expectations, right? And G2, I feel like we were the better team back then, but like the atmosphere was so. They were cheering really hard for them, and like they were like booing us and stuff. And I was, I think that got us to
America.
that got to our nerves a little bit, and we did not play well at all that day. And
Oh
yeah,
no! Now we're gonna hear so much booing at like Rocket League events. Now that you've said this, like, we're like,
No,
that's
I
how
mean
we beat
back then,
the.
yeah. No, nowadays it's less of an issue. I guess we have more
Okay.
experience, but yeah, back then we had. I mean, the team was pretty, new, and like the play.
Mhm.
Even Shosset and Bully were extremely young. I was still, I was, only on my like I guess half of a year of like professional
You're
Rocket League. So,
still
yeah.
extremely young. Just FYI, you're extremely young still.
True, but I'm a boomer for the Rocket League scene. So.
Yeah.
Oh God,
True.
what am I? Feels
You're
bad,
the
man. Feels old,
boomer.
man.
You've
Yeah.
boomed.
Yeah, I actually described you in the show notes as a gamer pro zoomer or pro gamer zoomer. So, to be fair, you've been defined as a zoomer. So don't worry.
I don't know what's between the two. It's always the extremes with boomers and zoomers. I don't know what the middle is.
There
of
is no
those
middle,
two.
Johnny.
You just like you go from one to the other on a day, or you go to sleep
Yeah.
as a zoomer, you wake up a boomer.
Yeah, dude, you're either toxic or you're a simp. You're either a boomer or you're a
True.
zoomer. There's no middle ground.
True.
Try to bring
should have
nuance to the
known.
internet. It's not
Yeah,
gonna
I
work.
should have known. But yeah, Farrah, what? So yeah, the Worlds wasn't too great. Do you have any like stories from Gnarly where you came second? I think you got the bracket reset there in the grand final. You
Yeah,
had 9
that
like,
was one of the only times where we a team get the bucket reset and then ends up losing. We were
yeah.
so exhausted, like dude.
Mm.
Like we were still jet lagged because Nali flew us in very very late, and yeah, like that final day we played Energy I think twice. And then the finals come in and we win the first one, and we almost threw the first one because I think we had a huge lead and we almost lost the best of 7. But like the games were so exhausting. I was genuinely, I think that was the only time where I was genuinely looking forward to when everything would end, because I was like completely like tired and stuff, and I could not think straight. Hey, I don't know. Like that was one of our first actual LAN. Like we nowadays I mean not really right now since there's COVID and stuff. But we took part to a lot of LANs. So but back then that was huge, and yeah, we really enjoyed going to Toronto and stuff. That was funny. The funny thing is I think that was was that before or after the World Championship? I don't
Before.
remember.
It was before World.
That
It was
was before.
between
So
playoffs and Worlds.
okay, so that means that was the first LAN we ever got foreign, because I think before that we actually won a Paris LAN against Ferry Kedop and Moot.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Okay.
just before that. So then we flew to Canada, and the funny thing is, so back then, I think that was the first time Showset would take the plane and stuff, right?
Oh really?
And he comes to the airport, and there's his mom, and so we asking, if he has like every paper sorted, because he was underage still, and we had to get a guardian for him so he can go through the
as you can
the
international
security.
travel.
Yeah, right. And he's like, yeah, everything's fine. And then I'm asking the question, do you have a controller? And he's like, no. And I'm like,
He
wait,
didn't take his what?
he thought they would just hand, like we would go there and they would just hand out controllers, and I was like, dude, you how are you gonna play? So yeah, he did not have his controller, and I think at the end of at the event, like we found some. I think like a caster had one or something, but
That's
yeah,
hilarious.
that was like he didn't even want to play with his controller. He was like, I mean, every controller is the same, so I might as well get one there.
Wow.
Like, what the fuck?
It's gonna go shopping, you know? Like,
And-
That's
that
a
was-
controller store.
That reminds me of when you guys came to LA for season 1, Johnny, and
Oh, yeah?
I was asking Mark what he did on the plane, and he brought nothing. He didn't bring a single piece of entertainment with him on the plane. So he flew for 10 hours just staring straight forward.
No, it was worse because his screen broke, right? Didn't his
Yeah,
screen
yeah,
break?
yeah,
And
yeah.
he didn't want to bother the what was it called? The air hostess, by asking if he could move to a seat with one of the working TVs, because he was looking around and he's like, well, I can see at least 3 seats that have a working screen and nobody's at them, but he didn't ask to move because he didn't want to be a bother, so he just stared at his blank screen
Marky.
for 10 hours. Yeah, Mark.
Oh,
you did
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Dude.
Yeah, we're talking about the same idiot. Don't worry, Farah. We're talking about the same exact idiot. This is why I could never run like an esports team. I mean, doing tournament operational kind of stuff or just scheduling for this podcast is hard enough, let alone dealing with this kind of thing. Yeah, no, I didn't bring my controller. Why would I do
No,
that?
I didn't bring any clothes. What do you mean? Are we not going shopping? I thought I was just going to wear.
My parents
wear
didn't
the
give me any money.
merch.
Did you guys? So you guys are going to give me money, right?
Yeah, do you guys have any food? I didn't bring anything at all, actually. No, that's like so normal, very normal. Lateness as well is very common, but that's hilarious. I can't believe Chaussette didn't bring his controller. Just assuming he's gonna get one there. They're gonna hand out like event controllers, man.
There's lots of stories, but this one I remember.
Anything
you
you wanna
can
share,
you
just
can
interrupt
tell
us.
them all.
Yeah, I
buddy.
mean,
It's no problem.
if I remember,
Any
then,
stories? Say, hey, I remember a good one actually. There was a funny tournament. The E League happened after season 4, and that was where there was this crazy 3-way tie where you guys beat Cloud9 again, but then you lost to Method and Mocket, and you guys lost the 3-way tie, so you didn't make it out of groups. And that's a relevant story because it happened again, like at WSOE, like ages later. So you've had it 2 times where you've had this like 3-way tie in groups and you lose. Like, what's going on with that?
Yeah, I mean the one at E League was we actually knew, like we knew what we had to do. We only had to beat Mokit to make it out of groups, and
Yeah.
we got reverse swept. So at the
Yeah.
end of the day, we were like, okay, I mean we lost, but like at least we had our destiny on our hands. The issue is the WSO is that they actually changed the schedule. Like everything was fine that day, and even the format, actually I really liked it because we had to play a lot of teams online. That was fun. And the WSU thing is like they decided to at the end of the day to make like to start moving series around, so like the one that mattered the most end up being the one at the end of the day. And the issue is that they switched the schedule around. So at the end of the day, we already played, and G2 was gonna play, and they knew what they had to do. And TSM, they were gonna play against TSM, and they also knew what they were gonna have to do to qualify. So TSM was already through, and they only needed to win one game to secure top 2, because top 2 was a better seeding than top 3. And G2, they did not need to win, I think. I think they only needed 2 games or something.
Right.
I don't remember exactly, but yeah, basically after TSM won the first one, they started like goofing around, and I was like, okay, dude,
So you needed TSM to win versus G2.
Yeah.
But G2, I think G2 did need the win because they were
Yeah,
at that
I
point
think
they were
they
1-2.
did, yeah.
So G2 needed the win. TSM only needed 1 game.
Actually, I think they might like actually. I think G2 needed to win 3-1 to get through. So TSM needed to win 2 to save us, and 1 to get their
it's one of those
started.
formats. Oh man, so yeah, if G2 lost 1 more game, they actually would have lost to you because you had the head-to-head against them. So they needed to win 3-1 to go through.
And they like TSM won 1 game, so that they achieved their goal of securing the seeding, and then the next game they lose like 6-0 in 2 minutes, and I'm like, dude, are you guys even trying? They lost
last game 6-1. That's true. I mean, there's some formats. I mean, group stage formats, they can always end up like that, where there was a really weird one, like a weird tiebreaker scenario in season 2, obviously, where the best result, or there was a world where the best result for Precision Z, KDOP's team at the time, to qualify was getting swept. It was the only way they would qualify is if they lose 3-0 because of the way the tiebreakers are set up. Obviously, RLCS realized that was wrong and they changed it. But yeah, group tiebreakers, they're a tough one because you
Yeah,
never,
there
it's
is always
possible to
issues.
figure out all the like combinations of what can happen. Then it happens, you're like, oh no, it's happening.
Yeah, but like back then, I
Oh,
remember
no.
screaming at the like the guy that was like that was saying, "Oh, you're gonna play next. You're gonna play next." I was like, "Dude, why are you making us play at that time and not exactly during that series?" Because
you
like,
should play at the same time, right?
yeah,
So nobody
the
knows what the
WSV
score
did that
is.
actually for the whole tournament. For the whole group stage, we were playing at the same time as everyone else. But just for the latest, like the only the last 2 or 3 matches, they were like, we're gonna hype the things up and screw
Yeah, I guess
everything.
they probably just wanted more content, but it kind of ruins the competitive
Yeah,
integrity, right?
it did ruin it because otherwise we would have played at the same time as at G2, and like I think things would have been very different because TSM would not have been sure to be qualified, etc., etc. Like that would
Yeah, they
have been
wouldn't know
very,
what they need. They'd be like
very,
trying
very different.
harder. Yeah,
Very,
that
very
makes
different.
sense. That makes sense. Yeah, WSOE was that was when you had Fruity in the team.
Yep.
The E League was with Blue, E League One, and both of them were like crazy 3-way ties where you just didn't get in. But we can't skip over DreamHack Leipzig 2018. I hope you've got stories from this event because you won this one, first place, beat Flipside, beat Garrett Fairburn Torment, beat G2, so revenge from Worlds there where they beat you. You got your revenge and then beat them in the final. And it was game 7. Was it overtime in the last game as
Yeah,
well?
over
It
time.
was
We
game
actually,
7 OT and you got the winning goal. So
yeah, we were losing like 20 seconds left, I think. Like I think they scored like 30 seconds left, and then we tied up with Bluey clutches it up with a like huge goal, like 10 seconds left, and then goes to overtime, and we win it. I don't know, 30 seconds later, or something.
was that when you fell off the stage? You guys all
And no, that was after Cloud9 in at Worlds.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, true. Yeah. Oh yeah. We were looking for a GIF of that, but we couldn't find one. Of you guys falling.
Well, I'm lucky then.
Yeah.
That was only if you just didn't want to do face cam, then we were gonna have a looping GIF.
Okay.
That would have been the punishment.
Slap it on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. What was that like winning the first or winning with those guys on a big line? That had everybody. That was a super stack tournament.
Yeah. Back then, there were not a lot of tournament, not a lot of lands, and like being a big major winner was huge, right? I mean, not as huge as being a world champion, it was still huge, and I think we did not expect that win at all. To be honest, like we were coming into the tournament being like, okay, let's just play, and back then we were starting to have issues, I guess. And then the tournament happens, and we go further and further, and things go well, and then we go against Flipside in the quarters, and we like Flipside with Jesse actually, who was subbing in for
Yeah, he subbed in for
Mystic.
Mystic was sick, yeah.
And we had to river sweep them. That was a very close series. And then from now on, from like that point, I think that was like when our confidence was like, okay, let's just do it.
Were you guys just like, we've retired Jesse from competitive play?
No,
Here we go, boys.
Not really. We were very scared of losing because that would have been.
They didn't play well this tournament. They didn't look that great, but then suddenly they made it into the quarters and they were winning.
I think they
against you.
Didn't they beat Method? I think.
Yeah, they did. They looked so bad in the first group stage because it was like a double, like there was group stage into another group stage, and they didn't look good at all. But then they game 5'd Method, on Wasteland overtime. I remember that game. It was just so crazy. Where Cuxer was playing out of his mind. Yeah, they somehow won this with it was Cux, Yukio, and Jesse. Like, yeah, they almost made an even deeper run. You guys had to reverse sweep them. It's madness.
Yeah, that was close. That was close. And then we had to beat. I think that was not Torment and Gimmick. I think that was.
It was Garrett, Fireburn,
no,
and Torment.
that was that was on the other side of the bracket.
Oh, were they the other side?
Yeah, they played G2. We played the Vitality before that.
Oh
was
wait, you played
Vitality.
it was
the Guess
you
Who.
used to be Mock It, right? But they
that was Guess Who, the team name,
that's
Guess
they played
Who.
themselves.
So that was like Bashi, Freaky, and Ferripic. And
That's
that was
right.
that was a very comfortable semifinals. In fact, I feel like the two DreamHacks we won were actually very similar. Like we had to reverse sweep quarterfinals,
Yeah,
and
true.
we go on to win very easily in the semifinals, and then the finals are pretty close.
Hmm.
And pretty close. Like for the G2 one, that was really close.
Really close.
Yeah,
Yeah,
really
very
close. Really close.
maximum amount of close right there. But you got it, so that's all that matters. That was it right after G2 had just won E-League as well, hadn't they?
Yeah, true.
So they
They,
were
they
like,
could have met back to back.
yeah, but you stopped them going back to back, which I mean, everybody thought they were the best team and you beat them. So it looked like things were going well. I mean, I think up until that point, you guys had a pretty consistent results, like always there or thereabouts, beating all the good teams every now and then, taking down Gale Force multiple times, Cloud9 multiple times, you beat G2. So everybody, it looked good, but then suddenly it just didn't go so well. Like season 5, you didn't make Worlds, then Gnarly 2, you came like 5th, 6th, losing to Cloud9 Energy. Was that just like what happened to the Blue version of your team there, PSG? Just fell apart.
I mean, let's just say like it's not just people tend to look at the Bluey situation from just one Discord message, like one public thing he said. That was the last drop on the thing, because there were a lot of issues back then. Actually, that go all the way back from Washington, I'd say. But
Yeah, you said
we
you guys were having trouble even before you won the first DreamHack, right?
Yeah, we did. We had issues, but I always believe we can fix things. So we always try to go around them and try to do better and improve whatever issues we have. So but then season 5 came around, and somehow actually after we won DreamHack, that was things started going well again because we won. So we were like everything is we in the happy world. But so everyone expected us to be extremely good, and I think that like that season was the worst I ever had, and I could not play well because I had so much pressure for some reason, and I could not play well. And yeah, it took a huge toll on me, and yeah, like I did not like playing that season, and that's when the issues really came really alive, I'd say. And then we still try to keep playing. We qualified for Nali, but and at the event we still had problems, and we tried to fix them one last time. But then the one tournament after that, Bluey did not like that we lost, and we had to make a decision. Either we keep pushing, but it doesn't seem like the issues are gonna be resolved anytime soon. Or either we just say, okay, we have 1 week to find a new third. It's not much, but at least it's 1 week, and we have that time. So we took the decision to get how to say, to kick Blue, I'd say. Yeah, that was not an easy decision, but at the end of the day, I think that was the right call, because Blue is an extremely talented player, but back then he was very young, and even me, the whole team was very young. Shosa did not speak English a lot, and I was not very. I don't know. I tried to do things, but I think I was not I was not experienced enough to deal with this kind of situations. So things got out of hand.
Yeah, that's fair.
Happens.
Happens with adults too, with old people as well. So yeah, it's totally fair.
Yeah, things got out of hand, and well, we moved on, and we did well after that. So that was good.
Yeah, can you talk about adding Fruity to the team? What that was like?
That was like
was it just Fruity? Did you look at other people? What was that like?
We had 1 week pretty much, and 1 week is very short to try out people. We like even just to get scrims, because back then it was a time where like the season was still in a long time, so it was pretty hard to find scrims. So like just trying out people was a hard task. We tried a lot of French players, but none of them were like Alpha was not even on a radar back then. I don't even think he was like good back then.
He hadn't even
They-
stream
yeah, there
scraped
were
his crop.
no huge French players apart from the four of us, which were very K-Dop and Chaussette and me. So we tried, the mood, the Nexo, and the bubble French scene, and we also tried we also tried Fruity, and we wanted to try Speed as well, because they were from the Bricks, right? And the Bricks had really good off season. Like they were not an RCS team, not even an RS, but they started winning tournaments and stuff. They had huge results, and I was like, I mean, maybe it's just the team, but there's no way those three players can just come in and from nowhere. Like they must be good somewhat. And we tried Fruity, and like from the first scream, it was very, very apparent that he was RCS quality. Like it was not like mechanically. I wouldn't say it was like one of the best mechanical player, but in terms of rotation, that was everything clicked from the start, and I was like, dude, that like let's just run one more time. But he knows his stuff. Like he knows how to play the game, and I think we can do good stuff with him.
Were you thrown off by the fact that he was a keyboard player, a disgusting KVM user?
No. Let's be honest. No,
Is he KVM?
that's
He is
weird.
KVM.
That's
He's not
weird. But
just keyboard.
yeah, he has mouse. I
Yeah.
think he has a
And
mouse.
he doesn't use spacebar to jump like Yummy Cheese Man or anything weird like that.
No, I don't even
I
know what his
believe when Yummy
controls
told me
are.
this. It's
Wait,
ridiculous.
Yummy is KBM?
Yeah, his keyboard as well.
Yeah, his keyboard, and
What?
he changed jump. Usually, if you're a keyboard mouse player, jump is right click and boost is left click. But he's
Yeah.
like, nah, I want to change jump to space bar. So he's jumping with
So
space
he's like
bar,
playing like CS:GO or
like
something?
Mario or something. Yeah, he's like space bars to jump in other
Oh
games.
my goodness! I had no idea that Yummy was KBM as well. That's
Yeah, it explains
insane.
all of his mechanical deficiencies.
Wow, Marauder main
much
too.
more.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's cool. Though. So yeah, Fruity, you're just like stroking his ego for back then, I guess, when he was rotating well. But it was pretty successful, but nothing. I would say that when you joined the roster, you guys didn't have the same immediate success you had when Bluey joined. 'Cause when Bluey joined, you guys were like, oh yeah, by the way, yeah, we're just beating Gale Force at top 2 in league play.
Yeah, true.
Winning DreamHack Leipzig not too long after. But then yeah, Fruity joined. It was like you got 4th in playoffs, so you just made Worlds. Worlds, you lost to Chiefs, beat G2, lost to EG, so it wasn't that great. E-League was a disaster. Chiefs swept you. WSOE, obviously, you talked about that already. Then DreamHack Leipzig, you failed to make top 8. Like, nothing seemed to be going that great initially, but you guys still, stuck together and worked through all this. Like, what was it that, obviously, it wasn't, you weren't getting the results you wanted, but why did you keep going with that roster?
Like looking at the results is one thing, but we like the results were we deserved more than that, and we knew it. The thing is, we started the season and that was really hard, right? Like the season 6. That was a very tough time for me because I had issues myself, like family issues and stuff. That was probably the toughest time in my life, and like Fruity came in right at the time, and we had to pretty much teach him how to play like at this level and under pressure and stuff. That was hard. Like I could not do it back then. Like, it was a really good thing that he was even older than me and still mature, and that he could do and learn himself by just be himself. And
He could
and
take
that would be good.
feedback, and he wasn't as
Right.
sensitive.
I was not, because like back then I would just like rip into people and for no reason. So
Really? I did not know that.
like that
Okay.
that was a really tough time. Like I had a lot of issues, even at work and stuff. Like everything was going bad, but things like so Fruity came at a really tough time. But then and the season started really bad. Like I think we went 1-4, and we were like, I think we were dead last in LCS. But we knew we had the potential because in scrims and stuff we were playing really well. It's just like on the day we could not get the wins, and that was an issue. But somehow we came very close to the promotion tournament, but we made huge changes to our playstyle after the week where we got swept twice, and it worked even better than before. especially under pressure, and we started winning. And the thing is, so we won against Mouse and Fnatic, who were arguably the two worst team back then. So that was a convenient thing that those were the two teams left on our schedule. But then then we make playoffs, and we had to face I think that was Vitality and they were the third seed, right, coming to it. And somehow I kind of knew. Oh no, they were the fourth. We were fifth and they were fourth or something. It doesn't matter. Somehow I had the feeling that they were not really as good as a team as people were making it seem. That was when they just got scrubbed, right? And Scrub had huge issues back then, and in terms of play style and
Have
stuff.
those gone?
What do you mean back then?
Have those gone? Those are gone? Scrub's issues?
Yeah, I mean,
we're both Scrub fans. I'm just making them.
Less.
You won a world championship.
Yeah,
so,
back then, I don't know if you remember. Like, he was like sometimes you could see him on the field just waiting for the back boost, like for like 5 seconds and stuff. That was happening a lot. That was actually like in LCS games, he was doing that. I was like, dude, this is not a good team. We can dig them, and we beat them for the playoffs. We in a very close series. We almost got reverse swept in a best of 7. That would have been pretty disappointing. But so then we make Worlds, obviously very very uplifting news after a very tough season. And then from now on, everything was bonus. So we come to Worlds. I think we were last seed.
Yeah.
And then we play Chiefs and we get reverse swept. And I think that was one. Even when we had Bluey, we were kind of being known for being reverse swept all the time.
Yeah.
And 3D came in. That was not the case for some time, but then it started happening. So it happened against Chiefs, and that was bad. Like even the games the games they won, like they won in overtime or something. Every time they were scoring very late. Like we had the lead like so many times, and we threw so bad, and that was hard. But then the next
every
day
game that they won was overtime.
Yeah, and like I think in the game 3 and 4 we had the lead with like 10 seconds left, and we threw it. I remember one huge mistake I made in game. I think that was 3 or 4. Like I just misread the backboard, and then like I think that was Dripper or something who bangs it top corner, and I'm like, dude. And yeah, we lose that series, and then Chiefs goes on to beat Energy.
Do you feel like you guys changed something about your gameplay to fix the reverse sweep thing, or do you think there was something you were doing, or you're just unlucky?
More experience. I think like reverse sweeping is always a little bit of luck, especially when there is overtime and stuff. Like things can happen. The sentence, it can go either way. Is pretty true in those cases. And like sometimes, a team will win 3-1, but like if one chance happens differently, it's a whole new series, even if it's just 3-1. Like if the fourth game is in overtime, usually it means that he can go to the game 5 very 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 quickly. And so even sometimes the series you might think are very comfortable, they're actually closer than people think. And so like getting reverse swept is tough, but at the end of the day, we were still in the tournament, so I think it was just a matter of getting more experience together, playing, because the Free had none. Even us, we were like. No, I think back that's not fair of saying we did not have any experience. I think back then we should not have lost those series, but some
it almost happened in the lower bracket too. G2 were reverse sweeping you, but you stopped them game 5.
Yeah, and that's funny because we knew that making it to top 8 would guarantee you going to E-League.
Of course, that was
and
big.
G2. That was big for G2 because they were the
defending champions.
And when we beat them, they were not gonna be able to defend their titles, and that's when they decided to kick Chronovi. I think that was the point.
Yeah.
That was the point where they decided that.
So basically, you're saying you ended Chronovi's career.
Jesse's career, Chronovi's career, Moot. Wow,
you're just taking all these.
Yeah, fire burners as well. That's
what. This guy's a murderer.
That actually was an ending. Yeah. Wow, you guys are the baddies for real. But yeah,
But
that didn't go too well, I guess, overall. Like, you guys aren't looking for 7th, 8th. I mean, you got top 8, so you make E-League, but you're not shooting for 8th, I
dude,
guess.
yeah,
Were you?
yeah. But then I don't know if you remember the series against Evil Geniuses. We
Yeah.
like we
Yeah, another game
actually
5.
we actually conceded 2 goals in 30 seconds. We were up by 2 in game 4,
Mhm.
and I think like Shaw said hits a double tap or something, and I'm like, that's it, we won. And we concede a kickoff goal like straight up in 1 second, kickoff goal, and then we concede like 10 seconds later. That was the hardest throw I've ever experienced in my entire life. Like, no, maybe not actually. Actually,
There's more.
actually, we got
wait.
swept by Mokit in season 4 in the best of 7 for the third
I
third
remember that,
place,
yeah, 3rd place, best
and
of 7 rest
they
week.
scored at 0 second on
Oh,
game
yeah, that
7
was
to
crazy.
tie it up after we triple committed. So that was the hardest
That's a
throw.
pretty big throw, yeah.
Yeah, that was a big throw. But then it didn't really matter because that was only for
Seeding, yeah.
seeding.
Mm.
So this one against Evisions, that was, to make it to Sunday, to Championship Sunday and stuff, making it
I
to
mean,
top
yeah, it's
6.
EG though, like Markets, so yeah, at the time they were like pretty rated. Like people thought they were pretty good, but EG, I don't think that people thought they were on your
I mean,
level.
Chicago was huge. That's
True,
what
true. It was
that's what G2
basically
picked up.
Chicago.
But
Yeah.
yeah, Classics and Co-op TG were in the end of the career, I'd say. So yeah, we expected to win, and man, that game 4, I mean, it killed me. I've like usually shows that he's pretty, he doesn't, we lose and he smiles and he moves on. I've never seen him so disappointed after a loss, and he was, crushed, and everyone was, to be honest. Like that was probably the hardest one I've ever had because, even if you had no expectation on coming to the event, when
And
you
it was
get there
another,
and you start playing, you're like, oh, actually we can do this. And yeah, we
yeah.
had, we really thought we were gonna make it to top 6 at least, and that
I
was
was so crowd at that one. That was another NA LAN, so no cheering
yeah,
for EU,
that was Las
obviously.
Vegas.
Yeah.
That was Las Vegas. That was fine. Better than the previous one. I think Las Vegas was not a full arena. Like it was. You were there, right? I remember we did a Korean barbecue the same day.
There you
Oh,
go.
that was amazing, right?
Yeah, that was great.
Because yeah, Farah, by then you were eliminated, right? Or
Yeah,
was
I
it?
was
Yeah,
so
you're
sad.
eliminated. So I was like, Farah, come on out, man. Korean barbecue time, and super good Korean barbecue.
Yeah,
Oh my
that
goodness,
was insane. That was
some of the
insane.
best food of all time. I don't remember the name of the place, or I would tell you guys.
There's some decent Korean barbecue in Paris, by the way, Farah.
Really, because I've started. I looked for some, and I think I went to 1 or 2, but they're not the same than the one in the United States. You should give me address because
I will.
I will. Yeah,
Oh,
definitely
I'll
want
look 'em
them.
up.
I definitely want
I've
them.
gone to some places though and like walked in and been like, excuse me, do you have like japchae or something like this? And like they're like, what are you talking about? And it turns out they're Chinese. They're not Korean at all. And I'm asking literally for the Korean name of the dishes and they have no idea what they are. So I won't send you to those. There are some other good ones though, for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, I'd like it. But
yeah, that was a good time.
But yeah, Vegas was fun. I mean, it was not the same crowd definitely than Washington. Washington was the worst by far.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a bit of a, well, actually, I was going to say Washington was a bit more of a last minute announcement, but Vegas is pretty last minute as well. Thing is, though, Vegas is a bit cheaper to fly to than Washington. If you want to do a last minute trip from Europe to somewhere in America, Vegas is like, well, back then it was one of the cheapest.
Yeah, but like
to.
for like American people, it's harder to get to Vegas. Like there's no, it's hard. I think it's harder to get to Vegas than to Washington.
Maybe
it depends on what part of the country you're from. There's a lot of subsidized flights. They give you cheap flights because the casinos sort of like do promotions with the airlines to get you there and to come lose your money. So it really depends. I'm from like the Midwest, and you can find very cheap flights to Vegas. But going to like,
I was shocked.
It was in DC, right? Was it in DC? So like DC is really expensive to fly to from the Midwest. In my
it's
experience,
just not somewhere that people. Well, it's definitely not subsidized by casinos, so they're not gonna. The prices are just gonna be flat, like just straight up. You're paying the airline what they want. The casinos aren't helping you, but yeah, Vegas was I was so surprised by how cheap it was. I thought it was gonna be. I went to check flights expecting to see a number. I'm like, I don't think it's worth you know, don't think it's worth because it was so late. But then I looked at the flights. I was like, how is it this cheap? This is like a month before the land. That's crazy because I bought like tickets as soon as it was announced, I think. But yeah, it was fun. It was a really fun LAN.
Yeah, it was still
It was-
fun. I mean, every world champion is usually really fun. So you know,
Mm,
even if we never actually make it very far,
yeah.
it's still a fun time.
So there was that we talked a bit about well, I mentioned in passing with the E-League that didn't go very well, just like cheats
Yeah,
at
but
that
like
point.
to come back on that, you know, like every like the losses were still, you know, it's like, dude, like if one thing is different, we win, and
Mm.
we knew we had potential to make top 6 in the world, top 4 in the world, maybe even deeper. So we kept going, and even at E League, I think
You barely
uh,
lost to Cloud9
yeah,
4-3.
right,
Then you got
and
4-0'd by Chiefs. It didn't make any sense. You're like, how do you go game 7 to
yeah,
Cloud9 and then get swept by Chiefs?
yeah,
Cloud9 world champions at that point. You take them right
like
to the line.
like that was actually still a throw because I think we were 3-1 up and they came back, but like that was not as hard as the other one because like they actually started playing really well, and I think we had the lead at one point in one of the games, and gimmick popped off like they were so good back then. It was so hard to take them to the wire, I'd say. And then we played the Chiefs, and I don't know, like we just did not. we were not even there, you know. We
Yeah,
could
Chiefs
have.
they were good at that point. They weren't like Cloud9 good, but they were good. But they're definitely not like
Yeah, I mean they
Royal
were good.
PSG
So
good.
if you're not you know playing well, they're gonna beat you. But
Mm,
so yeah, that's what happened. We were terrible. I think the loss the day before really got to us, and you know
mm.
happens. So we came back to Europe, and we kept going. We kept going.
Yeah,
We knew we could still make it. So
Leipzig
we
was next. You didn't make top 8 Leipzig because of F3 and Dignitas.
yeah, right.
That was disappointing.
A little bit, yeah.
But
But you
again,
know, it's
like
stream
teams,
max. It's very hard.
yeah,
So.
yeah, it's like very hard formats for sure. They were a really close series, but you guys like had a good season 7 online though, and finally it looked like okay, this is what this team's supposed to be doing, right? You're making third in
Yeah,
league play, third in playoffs, and then it was like it's a bit more like what you wanted, I guess. Not first, but the right direction.
yeah, and it felt, you know, I mean, I guess it's hard to understand that from an outsider point of view because a lot of teams, you know, they perform really well from the get go, right? You look at
Yeah.
Energy since they added Squishy, they suddenly they start winning everything. So you're like, you don't need time to adapt, but actually, you know, if you want to be consistent, if you want to, you know, win on the long run, you need to get used to your teammates because they
Mm,
don't, you know, you win some and you lose some, but the way your teammates react and to the losses and stuff, you need to get used to it. You need to know how you like what you can learn from a loss, how you can say stuff after a loss, what you can take away from wins and stuff, and that takes time. And even you know even during the series, you need to understand how your teammates react to bad stuff
yeah.
happening, good stuff happening,
Mm-hmm.
and that takes time. So maybe you can get huge results. You know, the honeymoon phase can be really good, but you always need time to get consistently good results. And I think that's what I wanted. You know, I wanted to see if if with more time we are gonna improve, and that's what we did. You know,
Mm,
we on our lowest point we still made it to
yeah.
worlds. You know, in season 6 and even moving forward, we still qualified to events. You know, because you know the WCA and stuff, we had to go through open qualifiers to qualify. We were not
Yeah.
invited
Yeah.
to almost all of them, and we still won those events. So we knew we were better than most of Europe. You know, we were confident we were a top 4 team. The issue was actually going further than that, and I think season 7 was the point where it started really looking good. It started seeming like we actually got used to each other, and everything was starting to click. So
Yeah, I like that though. That you're not looking for perfect results from game 1. You're like, okay, we can work on this. This seems to be like something we can improve on, and it's like totally different than when it was you, Shawset, and Bluey, where it started off like, okay, this team's doing really good. They're like top of league play immediately. And you guys, it was more of a struggle, but you got improving. And this isn't even, we're not even at like the point in your history where you were at the peak. I mean, that's not long after this, because World Season 7, that was a weird format where it was like groups of 3.
Yeah, I
So
didn't really like it. Like
Yeah.
Vitality lost day one, and they did not really got hurt by that. In fact, they got a pretty huge advantage. Like G2 made top of the group, and that did not make a difference in the end. You know, all
Yeah,
that
they
mattered
beat
was
you.
the last day. So
Yeah, they didn't beat you. NRG beat you, but
NRG
then
beat us. Yeah.
you beat INTZ. What do you
Yeah,
think of the Brazilian teams, actually? Like, while we're on the topic of that season, because that was the first season for Brazil, and everybody was
Yeah.
like, "Whoa, this PJ guy, this card dude, like, what is going on?" Like,
Yeah,
was it like that to play them, like, as well?
in season 7, they were not really good. I'll be honest. They
Whoa.
were mechanically good, right? It's like it's like people that were playing free play for so long. So they knew, you know, if they had the space and the chance to do stuff, or to go fast in the end stuff, they would go for it. But it's like they were pretty bad in terms of rotation, and like even you could see them double commit all the time. And like for us, that was pretty. Yeah, that was a pretty comfortable win. I'd be honest. But then, like you know, you could see the potential, right? They were talented players. They just did not really have either the experience or the you know the good rotations, the good communications. I don't know.
Yeah.
So in season 8, they were already better. Like in scrims, you could see it. Like I think the teams that beat Velos, like there is one South American team that beat Veloce.
Yeah.
They were actually good. Like they were very hard to play against.
That's
And that made
interesting.
sense
Yeah.
why they beat.
They were
Veloce.
supposed to be the best team in the region, but they got upset by INTZ and some other team in season 7 who qualified ahead of them. It was, I don't remember what the org was at the time, but yeah, it was Kaio's team. They were supposed to be the best in the region, but they didn't.
Yeah, because everyone only knew Kaio, I think, back then.
Yeah, he was like the best player in the region by a fair margin.
And then
Card stepped up, and now they're both teaming together. And like, there's other players and teams stepping up as well. There's the first non-Brazilian team over there now who's won a tournament. There's actually the really OGs, Haberkamper and Firefox. They've been around since Brazil were in the Rocket League World Cup. They played Rocket League World Cup for Brazil against Finland, Netherlands,
Wow,
Germany, and Denmark. I don't know if you remember this. This is way back.
Yeah, I remember. I did like that's funny because I did not get picked up for that because like I think K-Dop was the captain and he chose Ferrepic and Moot. Yeah, chose Ferrepic and Moot.
You or Chaussette. I think they were thinking about like synergy more than anything else, not so much individual skill. I do remember that conversation because they were like, "Oh yeah, I think we're going to go with Mout because of the team play, the synergies there."
Yeah,
wanted somebody who would get out of the way, basically, let them do their thing. But yeah, Firefox, Kaio was in that as well. He's still around. Kaio, Firefox, and Haberkamper. They were the Brazil team, and they beat Finland, who went on to make the final. And then they beat Germany. They were 3-0 up in like 60 seconds. Firefox scored a hat trick in 60 seconds.
But that was a weird format, right? I mean, like it was an international tournament on like.
Yeah, so that game took place on US East. All of the Brazil versus Europe teams were on Europe games were US East, where the Europe teams actually had better ping for the most part, because Brazil players usually on US East get about 120 ping, 120, 140. I think that's the range that you're looking at, depending what part of Brazil they're from. So Europe had the advantage of anything, but Brazil are more used to playing with a higher ping.
Definitely.
They do that more often. So
it's like the Middle East version of.
Yeah, but you can't complain about it. You're like, okay, they're more used to this than us, but we do have better ping, so nobody's
still
complaining
the
advantage.
About it, you know?
Yeah, they didn't want to complain. I love that when I saw those two having success in Brazil. I'm like, no way.
What was the name of the guy that we queued with one time when I was still in the US? Was it Firewall? Is that Firewall?
Yeah, Firewall. He was a 1v1 beast in NA, and he was just a comeback master. I don't know if you've ever seen any of his series, Ferra, but he was the first series he ever played in my stream. I called it most insane series ever ? Or something. And I don't usually clickbait my videos. I'll just put the names of the players in the title. That's it. But this one, it was actually the most ridiculous series. Firewall versus First Killer. Firewall's first ever series on my stream. Game 1, he loses 11-1. I was like, oh no, because I do try and put players against each other who are going to be a good match. So I was like, oh no, this is a mismatch right here.
The Johnny matchmaking
Yeah,
algorithm.
I tried to find good matches. Then I just let the players do their thing. But yeah, he got 11-1. And I was like, oh no, this might be a bit bad one. And it's not really. It's a bit unfair because you're putting him in US East server against someone from US East, a mechanical monster first killer. But yeah, he managed to come back in that series and win it, even though I swear there was 2 games in that series where he's down a goal with 5 seconds left and he equalizes and then wins anyway. I was like, what is happening this series? This guy just won't give up. He loses 11-1 in game 1 and now he's coming back every game. So yeah, that's Firewall, not to be mixed up with Firefox D. The reason his name is Firefox D is because he used to be called Firefox lowercase d, and I was like, dude, you need to make that D uppercase so you've got the XD, and I think that's what he's done ever since. I've got to check this. This is my claim to fame in Brazilian Rocket League. That I've got the capital D in Firefox name. Yeah, that was my idea.
Such a good brand manager, Johnny.
Apparently, I'm not though. I've got an underscore in my name. What was I thinking with that? But yeah, there you go. Check Wikipedia. Still got a capital D in his name. I love that. Love that. That's really cool. All right. I was going to ask on the topic of Brazilian Rocket League Ferra. So my theory about why Brazil were kind of more competitive. I'd say they were more competitive in their first RLCS season than OCE were in their first season.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think the reason for that is that they can kind of play on US East.
Yeah,
they get 120, 140 pings, so they can get practice against US East players, but still, it's really high ping practice, so it's not as good. But Middle East players, they play on Europe with 80 to 100 ping, which is much more playable than 120, 140. So I think if Middle East got added, they would be I think they've got the potential to be even more competitive just because they're competing literally against EU players every day, all day, and ranked. That's all they do.
I think there's 2 reasons why they were more competitive. In season 3, it was still the time where some players had the advantage, the SRBPC advantage, right? The OG guys, the Cuxir, the Devo. I mean, Devo not really. He did not play this, but there were some players that could still make a huge impact only by themselves, right? And OC back then, they did not have this talent, right? They did not have those players that were out of the meta, I'd say, out of the they were bigger fish. They Cuxia and Devo back then, they were miles ahead of everyone else.
Yeah, Drippe wasn't that good yet.
No, they were
need
not.
to wait for season 4 Drippe.
And yeah, so that was still the early days of Rocket League, right? So they did not even have time to play a lot of tournaments and stuff. So it makes sense why they struggled so hard. And yeah, the other reason is they can only play on their own servers, so they don't have anyone else to match up against.
They could play 180 ping US West.
Yeah.
Sounds like a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I don't think that's going to help much.
So it's since South America was added in season 7, that was 2 years later. Already the game was much older. Players could play. Players had much more playtime, so they were better individually.
Mechanically as well.
The skill gap was closer, and yeah, they can play on the US servers, so that helps. Helps.
What do you think about Middle East though? Because you play against those guys all the time in ranked. What do you reckon if they were given a RLCS spot? What would be likely to happen there?
Sandra could have a shot at making deep runs in tournaments. I don't think they're a title contender yet. We played them. Maybe it's the ping, right? But when we played them, they did not seem. I think okay. So
when did you play them again, or did you play them in a tournament, or
just, we played them in the Euro Cup.
Oh, you did, yeah, Euro Cup. Yeah, of course. That went game 5, right?
Yeah, no, game 4, I think.
Oh, game 4. Okay.
Yeah. The thing is,
to watch that.
It feels like the gameplay, and that might be the case for Brazil as well. The gameplay might be based on the ping, right? The thing is, if you look at Brazilian gameplay or Middle East gameplay, it's very similar. They always try to go fast and beat you to the ball, and it feels to me they don't want to wait to see where the challenge goes, because they know with the ping they have a disadvantage going for that. So they need to be fast if they want to outplay the disadvantage. And I think the ping is a huge factor for that. But
Yeah.
yeah, when we played them, they tried to be too fast, so we scored a lot of open nets and stuff.
I think
I
they
don't know.
caught people off guard initially, but then I think Europe adjusted a bit because Europe Rocket League got faster after, or this year especially. Like if you go back to the end of 2019, I think the Rocket League was so much slower than it is now.
Yeah, it's true.
But
It's true.
Sandrock were so fast at the start of this year. They were just destroying people in like online tournaments, and they beat Vitality and Dignitas in 2 back-to-back series. Did you see either of those series? Because when I watched those, I was like, well, "What is
That
happening?"
was the TI, right? The
Yeah,
tournament.
yeah, European
Yeah.
Invitational. I was like, what is going on? How are
Yeah,
they
that was weird.
they're
But I
popping
think
up?
teams like back then, like the teams were focused on LCS mostly, so
Mhm.
I mean,
What does
it's an
that mean, though?
excuse.
I'm not trying to, like,
Yeah,
poke
it's
at
no,
any
it's
holes
true.
in this,
That
but I believe it. What does
that's
this mean? Because I hear
that's
this
an
a lot.
that's an
Focusing.
that's definitely an excuse, but
Yeah.
it
So
just
so
means
is it
that
like you're going for a shot in a game, you're playing like a weekly small tournament, you're going for an aerial, then you're like, "Oh, yeah, RLCS this weekend. Oh, man, I missed the aerial." Like, is that what's happening?
no, like the thing is, it takes a lot of mental strength to get through say a month long event. Like
Yeah.
LCS back then was league play, was pretty long, right? You need to practice the whole week, then you come in for the weekend and you have one series when you need to perform. One series.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you mess up, one time, two times, two series, like your season might as well be ruined. So you focus on that. You try to be ready on that, and all those other tournaments, all of those other scrims, you don't take it. It's not that you just don't take it as seriously. You take it very seriously, but you try stuff. You try to see
It's
what
like a
works.
scrim.
It's pretty much like a scrim because you want to, be on your, literally best possible form when Sunday comes by and you have to
Mhm.
play one of the most important series of your life somehow. Because back then,
Yeah. Yeah.
nowadays with the format, people are not realizing it. But there is the pressure is so different, like in LCS than it was in league play. Because in league play, you would play so few series that if you mess up one game, one series, it might as well ruin your whole season. So the pressure
Yeah.
was very, very huge, very, very hard sometimes to play with. So yeah, that would I think that's what it means. At least to me, that's what it means. You have those tournaments, you have those small tournaments, you play them as good as you can, but you're not pushing yourself too hard because you're focusing on Sundays that's coming, and that's your main goal. It doesn't matter if you lose the whole week. If it doesn't matter. You just want this
Mm.
weekend, this Sunday.
Yeah. That
And
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense. I wanted to hear your thoughts on that because, it's a funny phrase that I know, I get it, what it means, but it's really interesting to hear your input on that, hear your
because like
perspective on it.
also the thing is Rocket League, you can't win everything, right? You need to
Yeah.
put your eggs in the right basket, let's say. So
Mhm.
you need to
Mhm.
focus on the right things at the right time,
Okay,
and
so I guess before we talk about you ending Fireburner's career, because I know Twitch chat's not ready for that yet. You mentioned there that the pressure now in RLCS isn't as much, or is different.
it's different.
What's it like now in comparison?
There is more games to play. There is way more opportunity to prove yourself as a player,
Mm,
as a team as well. And your bad performances, they can be fixed. Like we bombed out pretty hard in the first regional, and I'll be honest, I think that was pressure as well. Like we were nervous
mm,
for various reasons. Maybe not. We are very experienced, but there's still some stuff that kind of affect the way you play, and I think that's what happened that day. So we're trying we're working pretty hard to fix that for the next tournament. But even if we mess up really hard on the first regional, there is going to be so many more opportunities for us to come. Even the grid is kind of already a way to redeem ourselves. And there is the next regional that's coming up in less than 2 weeks time already. It's going to be
mm.
next week. So yeah, things we have a lot of opportunities to get back uh, get back on track to fix stuff. And even those formats, you play a lot. Each day you don't play one series, you don't play one. You don't play one. It's either you win or lose. No, you're gonna play the whole day pretty much, and
Yeah.
even if you lose once, twice in the current format we have, the Swiss the Swiss system, you only need to not lose 3 times, and so yeah, the pressure is pretty different.
Do you prefer it? Do you like this new format better?
I like it a lot, but it's not because of the pressure. It's mostly because of the fact that we play more. We have more opportunities. We have, I don't know. From my entire career, that's the format I wanted. Like it's very similar to how Dota works with the international, and I really like it. So I feel like a point system with one worlds per season. It's like everything escalates towards the end goal, and it's just everything means a little bit more each time, and it's just very exciting to play in, at least from my point of view.
Yeah. Are you enjoying the grid as well?
Yeah. I mean, it's again, it's good practice, right? I wouldn't say I can use the same terms as I did for TI and LCS. The grid is not nearly as important as regionals are, but it's still good practice, and we take it very seriously. But,
yeah.
It's it's very good. Then it's
and during the grid, do you feel like the casting is what like takes you guys up like to new heights?
I mean, I think the fact that we are on Johnny Boy's channel helps us a lot getting to the finals.
Yeah. What other channels though? what other channels are you on?
Channels
and Smelt Worthless, right?
Wow. Yeah.
That sounds cool.
Those would be good channels for you guys to follow in the audience. You know what I'm saying?
Some great Twitch.
Have you seen that on this channel? You get the player POV, so we can get Ferra cam for a whole game.
That's right. Did you know that? Did you know that I follow your cam? Like I actually do Ferra cam during the grid. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've listened to the cast a couple of times. So yeah,
okay. Sorry that you had to listen to that. By the way,
he's having a great time switching between the player cameras.
Ferra grab boost. The first one is awful. It's like I can't see anything because I'm only on player cam. We're gonna do some different things this week so I can see the rest of the game still. But yeah, it's good times.
Yeah,
people like it. I mean, man.
Actually, Matt, somebody told me in my chat today that he was watching your POV on this, or I think it was like Astral and Alpha. He said that he learned more than he'd ever learned in watching Rocket League because it's so informative watching a player. Just one POV of a whole game.
Somehow
really
it feels.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, somehow it feels different than watching a ranked like stream as well, where like because I mean most pros at this point they mail it in when they're playing ranked.
Yeah,
they're not trying as hard.
Chat, getting
so somehow it feels different.
Oh, we got scored on. My teammate sucks. Yeah. The usual stuff. Yeah. No, it does feel different. I totally agree. It's cool. I like it myself as an idea, but it's funny hearing the casting for it. You're just like, I'll hype up a goal, and it's like, yeah, I didn't see it. Ferra's getting pushed, didn't see it.
I got demoed. What happened, Johnny?
What
happened? Yeah.
It's so funny. Maybe we'll have to do role reversal one week. I'll do the player POV and you can do the director camera.
Well, I talked to Brian, your behind the scenes studio, and I think we're gonna get like a feed of the game, the director mode that you're sending to Twitch. You'll send it to me as well. So I'll have both player cam and the general one so that I can be a bit more informed. So yeah, it'll be good.
Okay, interesting. I like it.
It will be good.
Right, I think that's given Twitch chat enough time to warm up to the really sad story about how NRG didn't win DreamHack Valencia. Because although you guys, nobody was thinking really about you guys winning this. Cloud9 looked like they're going to beat you, and like the Bricks are doing pretty well. You guys were still there and thereabouts. Did you go undefeated the whole tournament, or?
No, we got swept by Vitality the day before.
Yeah, that's right. So that's why nobody was thinking about you, because you guys
were so good on that day. Like we could not do anything.
Yeah, that's why you guys snuck into the last day, but you got swept, and everybody's thinking Vitality looked pretty good.
Yeah.
NRG look insane. Cloud9 look really good. Yeah, PSG. Nah, they're probably not going to win this. Or were you still PSG at this point, or was it was?
I mean, okay. I'm like, do I say it or not?
I don't say something you're not sure.
Yeah, no, we actually were, but we were on like kind of like very short extension of contract that was just for the event.
Okay.
Just for the event, only for this event. because
So
we actually like our technically I think our contract ended before the DreamHack, and
right.
but they already booked our flights and stuff, and we were like, yeah, I mean, let's just do one more week and see how it goes.
Gotcha. Right. And then you
Yeah,
won the thing.
yeah, and then we
Yeah,
won.
that's hilarious. But yeah, that was like the event where Fennec had just happened. How did
Yeah, right.
Chaussette figure out that Fennec was insane and that he was actually the best player in the world when he played the Fennec and nobody else is playing the Fennec? Like, what was the story behind that? Because that's like one of the craziest things that's ever happened in Rocket League.
Yeah, I don't know. Like even like back then, like people were not playing a lot of different cars. You know, it was only Octane,
Yeah, nobody dribbled in
Dominus, and
3v3. Nobody played any cars, any new cars. Like there'd been so many new cars come out. Nobody plays them. No pro players
but
play them.
I mean, I'd say Shawset is always trying to play those cars. I mean, back
Oh,
then at
okay.
least, he was there is always a new car, and he's like, dude, I need to get it. And then the next day you see him in Scream trying 2 games with it, and then he switches back, and he's like,
Switches, yeah,
nah,
that.
no,
But it was
doesn't
just
work.
different.
Yeah, I guess Fennec was different, but I don't really pay attention to this stuff. So sometimes it can
Okay.
be on a car and sometimes on another car, and I won't even notice it. And I'm like,
Yeah.
but yeah, so he started playing with Fennec at the event, and yeah, he popped off. That's the yeah,
Yeah.
he really did. I think that was disgusting. The Sunday he had, I think that was the most insane performance the player
Nobody
ever
had
had.
carried like this hard before not in a recent time. Like you said, back in the day, the SARP guys used to be able to do that because they were so far
Yeah,
ahead. But
Cook
all that like stopped. It was so long. It was like, Dignitas and Gale Force Dignitas were the best in Cloud9, and then like TSM came along, and there's a bunch of other teams that were like kind of at the top vitality, but they never had like a standout player like Chaussette was in that event. What's it like when you realize your teammate's that guy? He's like actually just 1v3 in the other team. Like
dude. Like I don't know. Like I tried to watch it because like during the finals, and I swear it's true. During the finals, at some point he scores a 1v3, and I think in my head I'm like, oh, not again, because like I'm like he's making us look bad, and I'm like I'm like nice, but like in my head I was like, oh,
I've got
this
to
is
score
not
a
good,
goal.
dude. Yeah, but dude, like I'm very proud of saying that I had on the last day on Sunday, I think I had 52% of shooting percentage that day. Like I was scoring everything
Nice.
as well, so I was pretty
Yeah.
proud of me. Like I think I was playing well, but there is playing well and there is sure set.
He was just insane. I mean, he was just
Yeah,
like in the
yes,
close
just
fit doing his
way
thing.
too good.
But
Yeah,
I
and
actually
like
heard that K-Dot played the Fennec and Scrims at that event. And I don't know if he saw Chaussette play, but I heard that he played it and he was
yeah, he tried.
scoring everything. But then he was like, nah, but I probably shouldn't play it in the
Yeah.
actual games because I haven't practiced enough. And that you guys went and won, and Chaussette plays the Fennec, and K-Dot's probably just sitting there like, goodness sake, I should have known the Fennec was the car for me. But he's just
Yeah.
an Octane guy through and through, so it didn't happen. Did you realize that you were the bad guys though? Like that everybody wanted NRG to win for Fireburner's last tournament. You were like,
I mean,
nah.
yeah, yeah. I think I tweeted about it. I was like, "Are we really gonna be the bad guys for the for
Actually, yeah,
this?"
you did. That was
Yeah.
hilarious. Oh
Uh,
man. Are we really gonna be the
so,
bad guys?
but because I mean, even me, uh, before season 3, I like Rocket League, right? I like the esport, and I was following the scene a lot, very very closely. I was a huge Flipside fan back then, so
Mhm.
we eliminated them in
You
season
eliminated them
3.
and you're like, "Oh no."
I was like, dude, I was like, dude, I didn't want to do it, man.
That's
No, yeah,
so
I was
funny.
a huge fan back then. So I understand why people were rooting for NRG, because even me back in the day, was like, Fireburner was a huge player back then. So I understand, why it meant so much to so many people.
It's really crazy though. If that wasn't happening, if Fireburner hadn't announced his retirement and this was his last event, this would have been a really crazy like match because neither team, you guys with your roster or them with that roster, had won anything. So it was like, oh my goodness, it would have been like good vibes. We've got a new champion no matter
Yeah,
what. But then because Fireburner announced his retirement, they were like, okay, but yeah, we know you guys haven't won anything either, but you can wait. It's got to be them. Everybody
yeah,
wanted them to win because he's retiring, even though you guys hadn't won anything either. And this is huge. Like it was your big like first place for the first time, which is crazy.
yeah, and that was a huge breakthrough, I'd say.
Mm.
Back then, we were Yeah, I mean, I can say it. I can say it. Let's just go with it. After the performance in at Worlds, we was already starting considering, uh, a roster move, because we were like, dude, we keep coming top 8, top 6, the thing you were saying at the beginning.
Yeah.
That's when we started considering it, because at
Mm.
first, it's like, oh, I mean, it's fine, it's only the start. Then you start doing it again, 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 and there is various reasons at why it happens. But then so you start improving and you start thinking, oh, this might be the one. And then worlds happen and we lose to G2, and we see G2 going to the final. And we're like, this could have been us, but it's
Yeah.
always this. It's always the same. It's always this could have been us. This could have been us. And I think we back then we at DreamHack we were like, well, let's see how it goes at this DreamHack, and if it goes bad, then there is Alpha 54 who wants to play. So
Little did you know, there is another team with their eye on Alpha 54 as well.
yep.
That's funny.
But
That's
yeah,
crazy.
so then we won the invert and we were like, well, that's sort of the window. We are good. So let's just
But
keep.
it was pretty consistent. I mean, Summit was right after that, and you guys got final game 7, lost at the turbocharged version of NRG, but
I
still, it
think
was like
this. Yeah, I think this
scripted.
eventually.
Yeah.
I think this eventually, unlocked something. It was like I would not say it was a curse, but winning something after this long was like, oh man, we actually are this good, so we can be confident in ourselves. We can be confident against those top teams. We can just we are one of them now. So yeah,
Mm.
Summit happened. That was like probably one of the most fun tournament I ever had, and
Why?
we ever had, as because like Summit was so fun. Yeah, Johnny was there, right? Like Summit was
Mhm.
fun at the.
I
at the World.
wasn't.
Fun.
I wasn't, and the viewers weren't. So what made
Yeah,
it
not
fun?
not a lot of people were there. It's
Yeah.
just the atmosphere. The
Yeah.
BTS was just unique experience, and I hope
It was fun,
we
yeah.
we get to go there again.
Hey, Farah,
One
they
day.
called it RL Summit 1, so
Bound to be
so
a two.
why would they call it 1 if
Finger,
there's not going to be a 2, right?
finger crossed, and finger
Yeah.
crossed we are good enough, so they invite us again.
I'm sure you can just go along as a personality if you're retired as a pro player by then. Hopefully, I think there should be another. I mean, they did summer shuffle, so sure once COVID
Yeah, I
is over,
mean,
that will be a thing again.
once COVID is over, but it's not looking too great. So,
Mm.
but yeah, that was a really cool event, and we had a lot of fun. Unfortunately, we could not get the win. That was close. We almost got the bracket reset, but
Yeah. Did you play
we
against Vitality at Summit?
no,
I
they
don't
lost.
remember.
They lost twice, and they were we played. So we came into the event saying, okay, if we play Rogue, because in season 7 we were like, dude, if we beat G2 in that game 5, we face Rogue, and I swear to God we're not losing to Rogue. And so I'm like, if we had beaten G2, we would have been to the finals, and in the summit we end up in the same group as Rogue, and I'm like, dude, I hope we face them, and we can be settled once and for all.
Yeah.
Who would have been in the finals or not at season 7? And I
Yeah.
think we played them twice. We smashed them the first series 4-0, and then the second series were actually much closer. Uh, but we still won 4-3, and we made it out of group second, because I think we lost
Mm.
to Cloud9 earlier that day.
Mm.
But
But what
that
about
was the
Vitality though? Would you have beaten Vitality? I mean, the score at DreamHack
eh,
Valencia and DreamHack Montreal wouldn't suggest so. What do you reckon?
I
Season
don't
7,
know. I don't know.
top scrub
Uh,
from winning.
I think I
Scary as
think I
well.
think I think in the finals everything can happen.
True.
I don't think
True.
anyone would have say we could beat Energy, and we lost every when we faced Energy in Valencia in the finals. We actually never beat them. We lost to them in WSOE. We lost to them in season 7 in the group
Mm.
stage. So we were not, that roster. They seem to have our numbers, but it's a finals, and usually when you go in the finals, you play with a lot of confidence, because you've already done really well, and I think that's where we play our best. So I think, yeah, I think it would have been. I don't know if we would have won it because we being a world champion, it's a lot of weight on your shoulders, especially when you get closer and closer, and you can see it even in the finals in season 7. Like Ferry Peak, right? You wouldn't think that guy can crumble under pressure, but you look at the game 5 and look at Ferry Peaks, and you'll see.
Did you
Like I
see his
think,
aerial to win the whole thing? Oh my
yeah,
goodness.
but that was
It's
after
like,
he gave that was
yeah.
after he gave away 2 goals. Like
Oh
he
no, I mean like the
actually,
aerial was so messy. It's like he goes
yeah,
flies up and then comes back down again because
yeah,
it's too high. You're
like he
like mechanics are
actually
not on at that point.
he
Yeah.
he actually gave away the goals because I think they were up by 2 or 1. Like, and the time went on, and they were like, I mean, that's it. Like we are world champion in 1 minute, and he literally threw. He gave away like 2 huge mistakes, and they still end up winning. But yeah, so yeah, pressure at that point can affect
Oh yeah.
everyone. So
Crazy pressure in that point for sure.
yeah, we had our chances, but no,
Mm.
I don't know. We'll never know, and
But Vitality usually would do good against you guys up until that point, right?
yeah,
Yeah. Until season 8, then you were like, actually, nah, we're 4-0ing Vitality in the playoffs final to get first place.
yeah.
Like that, I think you guys were like unanimously best team in Europe at that point for the first time in ages. K-Dop didn't win a
Yeah,
playoff. He
that
won
was
5 playoffs in a row, and you guys were the ones to stop him.
the end of the
Season
streak.
8. But then the Worlds kind of went the same as it always does, 7th, 8th.
Yeah,
Just lost to Space Station and PK.
and that was, I said there were 2 times where I felt we could have been world champion. So that, I mean, season 7 doesn't really count because I feel like that was more of a bracket luck thingy, facing Rogue in the semis. But season 4 and season 8, I feel like we had the potential to win it.
Season 8 especially, I think that's the season where you guys genuinely look like you were
Yeah.
you were definitely at the same level as NRG, who ended up winning, and you just smashed Vitality 4-0 in the playoffs for online. Like, it didn't make sense. Well, was there something about Space Station and PK? Because they were the 2, like, new teams in North America who were playing this style that completely caught the rest of the region off guard. Cloud9 and G2 were like, "What on earth is this?" Like, did you notice anything about the way they played that made it harder to play
Not
against
really, not
than you
really.
expected?
We are pretty used to this kind of playstyle. I'd say, like, the demo heavy playstyle is something we've been, even ourselves playing. Fruity and I are pretty high up on the demo compartment, let's say. So it was not something out of the ordinary. It was not some kind of endpoint style playstyle.
Yeah.
But that event was bad in many ways, and like from the organization standpoint, that was not really good. On the Friday, well, first off, the order of the games didn't really make sense in my opinion. So we were gonna play Space Station literally like 40 to 50 minutes after they played a game on stage, and
Right.
like because we were the first seed, so we had a free win, right?
Yeah.
We were further up the bracket than them, but they had to play the second OC seed or something, right? Like Canberra Havoc or something, like the team that
Oh,
everyone
yeah,
knew
yeah,
they were
yeah.
gonna be literally a free win, and they had to play them like 15, like just one series before us, pretty much. So that was a warm up for them. They get used to the stage, they get used to the environment and stuff, the computer there. They can set up and stuff and play a bad team, quote unquote. And we did not have this chance. We had to jump on stage, and back, Madrid was pretty bad on the organization side because I don't know what they did, but like on the first day, we coaches were supposed to be on, just be for the first time on the on comms, right?
Yeah.
They were on stage with us, and they were supposed to help us, but somehow they messed that up, and they did not have any headsets, and like the coaches that were on the Friday, I'm talking about the Friday only, they were forced to get one player's headset in between games to talk to the players.
Oh,
So
yeah, I
that was
remember
pretty
that.
bad. But also the fact that they, like, the referees or whatever, however you want to call them, they did not seem to understand the game, or the fact that we needed warm up. And so we go on stage, we start setting up, right, for the space station series, and like 30 seconds later, they literally want us in the lobby, and I'm like, like just leave, like give us like 5 minutes or something. And right now we don't have time. Like the broadcast has to, it has to keep going. It has to keep going.
That's really hard as a player to like have to focus on having a conflict with somebody and arguing with somebody when you're trying to get into the mode of playing as well.
And like one funny anecdote is that we go into the lobby, and then Fruity is like, dude, because we literally had no time. We had no time to warm. We barely even touched the ball in free play. And he's like, dude, I'm not sure I actually bound my keyboard, because you need to change the control and stuff.
Yeah, to change the controls.
And he's like, I don't think I did it. And he's like, he goes in the lobby, he checks, and he's like, I did not do it. Did we need to take a break? And we had to take like 2 minutes break just for him, like to keep the lobby and stuff, and him be like, okay, I need to set up actually properly and stuff. That was bad. So yeah, then we come really cold against Space Station, and they smash us pretty much. The score is 3-1, and I think we go. We really thought we had a better team back then, and I think we were, honestly. But it's just the circumstances and stuff didn't help. So we lose the first game really badly, and then the second game we start playing somewhat decent, and we get the win. We come back really hard, really hard and stuff. And I feel like this is the turning point. That's it. We can get rolling. We can start we can start playing like we used to. But it did not happen that way, and they finished the series pretty cleanly. And then we lost, and we dropped down to the lower bracket, and suddenly the road, or seeding, the first, having the first seed did not matter anymore, and we had to get out of a very tough loser bracket to make it, and we did not. Like we beat the South American team pretty comfortably, but even then it was pretty not so confident, And then we played Pittsburgh Knight, and I think we got swept, but that was a very close sweep, and I think it could have gone either way. Like the first overtime, I think it's like a 4 minutes or something. We lose it, but yeah, if we win it, like things might have been different. So. But I don't think we would have won the event anyway. Like looking back, the fact that that it happened so many times, right? This exact situation. Like we came into it having expectation. We wanted to win the event, right? And we knew we had the opportunity to do it. We knew we had the level, the abilities and stuff. The thing is, when you lose like that, you're like, I mean, it doesn't matter. Had we won against Space Station, had we won against Pittsburgh Knights, if we crumble that hard under those kind of circumstances, then it would have happened at some point, I think. Maybe not if we start clicking very hard, and we like our confidence builds up very hard. But looking back, I'm like, if we crumble really hard because of that, then I don't think we had the shoulders back then to be world champions.
So you've kind of alluded to this a lot, that you guys, it seems like you guys look at your performances and you try to understand what you can do better. Can you talk about some of the things that you guys have changed over time besides just mentality? I'm sure mentality is a huge part of it, but are you looking back at like the season 8 and saying, oh, like this is the thing we need to change about our gameplay, or is it literally just like, oh, our mentality needs to get better?
I mean, I feel like most of the losses we had as a roster were mentality thing, like induced. Like the reverse sweeps and stuff. There's a lot of stuff. There were a lot of opportunity for us to win and stuff. So it's been a recurring issue, right? Where we think, oh, we had all the cards in our hands and we did not use them. So we need to learn how to use them and stop throwing, kind of. But yeah, there were some instances where we actually, changed actually some very huge change of our playstyle. I talked about it earlier in season 6, actually, when we were like 1-4 in league play and things were not looking good. The whole week, because that was the season Dignitas was extremely dominant. Even if they did not win that season, like I think they broke records on league play. Like they went 7-0 and something like they lost
game record as
4
well,
games.
yeah.
They lost 4 games, and I was like, all right, maybe we are good in scrims and stuff, but they must be doing something right to be this good in these circumstances. And I spent the whole week after we got swept twice. I spent the whole week watching. Like I took Dignitas replays from series back then, and I spent the whole week watching them from Pandas and Caleb's point of view, like both of them. I didn't use turbos because he had a he had not the playstyle I wanted to. I feel like I did not see enough for what I wanted to see. But so I took Pandas and Caleb's point of view, and I watched them like every game. And I was like, every time he was doing something, I was like, I would have done this thing maybe differently. And then something good happens, and I'm like, okay, well that might be why I'm not we're not having good results. And we changed a lot. Like I understood a lot of how the game was played back then, in terms of rotation, in terms of positioning, by just looking at both of them. And I was like, let's just, I'm just going to try and pick up some very specific things, like very simple things to explain, and try to, tell them to 3D and show set and be like, okay, in these, in these overall situations, we might not want to rotate at on this level of the field. So if it's like if you would split the field on parts, you might not want to rotate back on that part, but you might want to go further back on this kind of stuff, right?
Right.
And those little changes that made us way more solid. Yeah, to just apply them. That was just very simple stuff. Like it was just we only tried them a couple times in Scream, and I was like, yeah, I mean that's easy to get used to. We don't even have to think about it. It's not like huge game breaking. It was just some very small positions stuff and very small decision making stuff.
Do you find time these days with how much Rocket League you have to play to do replay reviews and stuff like that with your own gameplay?
I don't do it as much because I don't do it at all. I still save replays and stuff, but
only for cool goals you've scored.
No. I don't score a lot of cool goals. So
Come on.
No. I still save replays because I want to look at stats and stuff. So I want to see what can be I want to see the average overall in terms of boost usage and stuff.
Okay.
So I still save replays for that.
So you can
But
get Astral without taking your boost, yeah.
I don't look as much in depth as I was doing back then because I feel like the meta has changed from what it was back then. Like nowadays, I think like every team has its own identity, and there is no right way of playing Rocket League. Back then, Dignitas, they were the dominant team, right? They were the dynasty, so they were doing something right that other teams were not doing, and they were playing the right way, and other teams were not playing the right way. So I wanted to copy that kind of style, and yeah, but nowadays it's different. I think like every team has an identity. There's a lot of new play styles.
Yeah, it's kind of cool actually to see that everybody's sort of like building their own way.
Yeah, right. You look at Endpoint. Look at. I mean, every team has their own thing. It's just not as. Sometimes it's not as obvious as Endpoint. But yeah, like every team has their own thing, and it's not just basic rotation being solid and stuff. Some teams are like that. And there's a lot of other teams that just in terms of decision making, they see the game very differently, and both work in some way. Both kind of teams make it very very far. They make it very different. So I don't look at replays as deeply as before because in my head I'm like, I mean, if we are at this level, we have our own identity. We just need to play on our strength, and we need to focus on ourselves and not so much on the other teams. So
I was thinking recently that maybe this is the advantage for coaches because there's so much Rocket League to play these days for pros to play all these tournaments and scrims and also like ranked to practice mechanics and stuff they've got like no time in their day or no mental energy left to look at a Rocket League replay. So I was like thinking this is where coaches might shine. This new format, coaches might be a really MVP compared to the past because they can actually have energy left to watch a replay and just summarize like, okay, this is why we conceded. This is why, other teams are scoring on us. This is how we score goals, and try and get that information just like you did.
Yeah, definitely.
Is this something you guys are taking into consideration for future to try and like find out who those people are? Like, who can we get in to help us? G's been coaching you for a while, but now he's back to casting, so he can't do that anymore, right?
Yeah, I mean, we had to get rid of him because we were moving to a full French-speaking roster, and if we had to have someone sitting in comms with us, he had to at least understand us.
Mm-hmm.
So that was going to be very hard with VME. So
for the listeners, by the way, Ferra did air inverted commas when he said "get rid of Yummy Cheese Man." So it wasn't quite that harsh.
I was like, quote unquote, get rid of.
Yeah. So I wanted to make that clear for people who are only listening here and weren't able to watch.
Well, I mean, we kicked him. Hey, let's just be
So I think this was before. This is like somewhat going back to the chronological career of Ferra. But before you teamed with Astral, there was a really insane show match, really cool content. Brains versus Mechanics, where you were finally able to team up with K-Dop and Fairy. They didn't want you in season 3, but now you get to do it. Brains versus Mechanics, K-Dop, Fairy, and Ferra against Astral, Alpha, and Chaussette.
This is before they announced that Alpha was on Vitality as well.
So before Alpha went to Vitality, before Astral went to you guys.
I mean, everyone on that lobby knew it.
Yeah, everyone knew. Fairy was like, thank you for reminding us or settling the bet that Alpha has no brains or whatever.
Yeah. Like Alpha, he was making they always roast Alpha, but yeah, how was this to 4-2 Astral, Alpha, and Chaussette with Fairy and K-Dop?
that was fun. But we actually played a lot of Definities with K-Dop and Fairy Pig back in the days, and we were actually really good together. So that's why I never understood why they did not, ever considered me. But I guess I had a team back then and stuff. So
I actually said this. I think I called you guys the best team in the world. They weren't even a team at one point. I was like, I think the best team's K-Dop.
We were good.
Because you guys, you three and Chaussette were the only top level French players, and they didn't have synergy with Chaussette, or they told me this. But yeah, they won a bunch of Gfinities with you, and you're beating like legit teams. I was like, I think they're the best team in the world, probably, but they're not on the same team. So
everyone was on a different team back then. Like K-Dop was on Dignitas. So,
and Fairy was.
K-Dop was on the best team in the world, and then Fairy Pig was on Mokit.
That's me. Yeah, I was like, they're the best, and maybe this is the second best team. It's not even a team, not even a real team. It's pretty good though. I mean, yeah, that was crazy because I think most people thought Astral, Alpha, Chaussette would win, just because Astral was insane for Dignitas and Alpha was like insane for his team.
Chaussette at the end of the day,
Chaussette was recently the best player in the world. So everybody's like, oh man, K-Dop and Ferra. I remember actually I saw a comment, some guy like making fun of K-Dop and Ferra mechanics as if they would, what are K-Dop and Ferra doing in RLCS? They don't belong there. And then you guys beat Astral, Alpha, Chaussette. I was like, man, that guy, he's probably seen this and he's mauling right now. His whole world is just crumbling around him. He's like, what is Rocket League?
But so like funny. If we replay that series today, maybe the score is different. But yeah, like that was a fun series. and I think we scored more mechanical goals than they did.
Yeah, you did.
Like K-Dop scored a double tap or something, and like that was funny. That's
hilarious. It didn't go the same way. I did an NA version of that, and the mechanical team won. It was Justin, Atomic, and First Killer against Turbo, Rettles, and Chronovi. The mechanics team just destroyed them. It wasn't close. Turbo picked the team, and his theory was, I asked, Rettles. I didn't see that coming. I wasn't sure who Turbo would pick for Brain's team, and he says, well, I mean, he's on a good team, and his mechanics are trash, so he must have a good brain. Fair enough.
Yeah, but it's weird because like nowadays people tend to put a player in one of the two categories. It's like there is it's like Pokemon cards, right? You have the mechanical type or the brain type. It's like one of the two.
Yeah, psychic or fighting.
it's
Well, Psychic
much.
beats fighting.
Zoomer
It's-
versus Boomer, Simp versus Toxic. This is how we
That's
operate
right.
now, you guys.
But
There's no in between.
it's like even on the mechanic standpoint, like in terms of like if you look at the whole mechanical team you were talking about, like Showset, Astral, and Alpha, they're all insanely talented players. They all,
Oh
all
yeah,
like
for sure.
insanely mechanical, but
Yeah.
in their own way, right? Like
Mhm.
they have
Clickbait, for
different.
sure.
They have
I
different.
mean, Fairy's mechanics are pretty
strengths.
insane, but he's in the brains team.
Yeah,
You know,
true,
like
true.
I think they're all like definitely very
Like
mechanical. and very
Fairy's
smart players.
mechanic is very similar to Garrett's mechanic in the sense that
Yeah, he just
he's not
bangs shots in the goal, and you're like,
he's
oh,
not
okay,
he's not like
flashy. Yeah.
but he's mechanically efficient. Like
Mhm.
things he's gonna do them well. He's gonna like be perfect with it all the time. So you can't
Yeah.
expect him to miss you.
Well, I
You
mean,
have
he
to.
literally beat Khaled in Fusion 1v1. You don't beat Khaled unless your mechanics are insane. Like you have to have insane mechanics to be able to beat that guy. And Fairy's one of the two
But yeah,
people who's
like
ever beaten him.
in terms of
So
mechanics, like if you look at even like my teammates, Shosad and Astral, they all, you know, you can consider them both like instantly mechanical, but they're so different in their approach of the game, even in their strength and their weaknesses.
Shosset drives on the ground and Astral drives in the ceiling. So
that's pretty much how you can summarize it. So like Astral has used strength in the air, and Shosad has used strength in the ground. Like they're vastly different as players, but yet you know you put them, like people like to put like mechanical people in the same
people just
basket.
love to put players in categories because that's like what happens in sports. You've got defenders and attackers, and like this guy's in this position. People want to do that to Rocket League because it's like just a cool thing to do.
I kind of hope one day we see like some.
If there's a bigger pitch with more players, I think it'll be absolutely necessary. Like if you did 5-a-side Rocket League on a much bigger pitch, you would definitely have a virtuoso on your team. Every team would have a virtuoso driving around just demoing people. No way is that not happening. And you saw it with Heatseeker. Heatseeker, every team would have one guy just in the other team's half messing them up. That was
But
like their job.
also no, I was talking about like I hope like sometime in the near future we see like some kind of analyst or like some guy who wants to really go in depth with stuff in Rocket League that tries to define roles in Rocket League, because I feel like nowadays, you know, I talked about it earlier, how you know teams have different identities now, and I feel like players that's because of the players, because they have like, different decision making and stuff. I feel like you could put them into categories, but it's not as simple as mechanical and like smart or like dumb but very good. You know, it's not as simple, but I think you can still do it. It just takes, you know, a lot of knowledge of the game, and I don't know if a lot of people are able to you know.
Wow, you just put everybody in the dumb category just now. You just said there's all these people.
I'll put it one. I'll even one up. I feel like a lot of it's a very, you know, it's a very simple game, but it's actually very hard to understand you know, the dynamics of pro level.
It looks really easy, but it's actually
It looks
when
easy,
people play, they'll be like, "Oh my goodness,
and
what's
I read a lot, and I read Reddit every day. I listen to a lot of, you know, videos, because I still, you know, love the esports, and even if I was not playing it, I would still follow it. But like people, and I'm not just talking about Reddit. I'm talking about a lot of analysts in general. You know, like the casters and stuff. Sometimes they think they know stuff, but like no, there's
what
no
the
like.
fuck are you trying to say?
I'm trying to say like.
Did I just get fired from the grid?
No. I'm talking in general. I'm not talking specifically about you of people. I'm just talking in general.
Oh, but we would love for you to talk specifically. That would sound good. Oh,
but like
drama.
positively, please. Thank you.
Talking in general, like
no,
people
you're right,
are very short-sighted in terms of what goes on during a game of Rocket League. It's not just about this player is so fast, this player is so mechanical, this player is so, oh no, he's so bad, he missed this, he missed that, this is just because of this. No, there's so much that goes on, and it's very hard to understand. And even me, I don't think I understand very, like I don't think I understand a lot about it, but it's just like like sometimes I hear stuff and I'm like, I'll read stuff on Reddit and I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you talking about? Like,
Yeah.
this is not how the game is. This is not how the game is played, man.
Yeah.
For sure, there's some terrible Reddit.
I mean, I think
analysts.
that's what everybody thinks when they read Reddit, to be honest.
Yeah.
What
I mean,
the
there's
fuck?
sometimes good comments. Don't get me wrong. I've read some
Yeah,
comments. I'm like, true. Yeah, facts
True.
right here. But it's there's a lot of really dumb ones as well. It's funny to see the difference.
Can you talk a little bit about? I think one thing we don't hear from pros about very often is like changing teams and interacting with orgs, like new orgs that you potentially might land at. Because you guys had this situation that came up with the pandemic where Reciprocity basically had to release you. Pretty shitty situation for them and for you guys, it seemed like. Can you talk a little bit about what that process is like, finding like a new home for a Rocket League roster? Because I don't think a lot of people get to hear about that.
I mean, like the reciprocity situation was very unique. Like it doesn't happen very often, and actually when we were not released, actually we are like there is not a single day we spend out of contract. We are not free agents at any point.
Oh, okay.
Oxygen, like we got transferred to Oxygen.
Right.
But yeah, overall I think and it's very, and you can see that with some recent events. That's not about us. I'm talking about, for example, Scrub and stuff. More and more players are getting agents, and it's it helps with the professionalization of the scene in general. But they are here, and we've had agents from just after we left PSG because we needed to find a new org back then. I think right now you can just say like every player is counting on agents to find.
So you'd advise up and coming Rocket League players who are looking for orgs to do that same thing as well?
Yeah, definitely, because you're not gonna find like there's multiple aspects to it. Like you don't have the contacts to get to big orgs or even smaller orgs. It's not because you put out a tweet that say, "Oh, we are looking for an org," that it's gonna get anywhere, because usually orgs they're not gonna send you a DM. Hey man, you're not gonna get a DM from Clone9 or like Clone9.
It can happen,
man.
it's not
It
impossible.
happened.
I've heard of it happening, but it's less and less likely.
It's less and less likely because there is
now.
more agents and stuff, and it's
Yeah.
more expensive as well. Like teams there, like nowadays, it's not just the small thing you can have on the side. A Rocket League team, it's not the small. Oh yeah, I mean we have that team. It does not cost us a lot of money. Nowadays it's very expensive. So org they put a lot of thought into it. So obviously it's not gonna go through a single DM. But hey man, what about you joining Clone9 or whatever org you want to join? So yeah, nowadays I think like even all of the bubble players, they should get agents. Because they are very helpful, like first off to find to have context to have contact, sorry, who which org is looking for Rocket League roster, maybe which org we can poke to see if they are interested in stuff in this kind of team. They and apart from that, they are also extremely helpful in negotiating salaries, because as a new player, and now I'm talking like purely from a bubble player standpoint, you don't know what you are worth, right? You don't you know very little about the scene and the salaries and stuff, and it's very hard for you to understand what you can get as your first contract, in terms of salary and stuff. A lot of players are maybe gonna aim too low, and some of them are gonna aim too high. So an agent is very good, and that is gonna maximize your opportunities without you ruining your chances of getting an org, right? It's his job. It's not. That's an issue as well when you're when you are representing yourself in. It's that you don't want to get in. You don't want to get in bad blood with your
with your org,
employer, or with your org, or through your org. You don't want to be like, maybe I pushed too hard for this negotiation and stuff. So like an agent is very good for that. You let him handle the stuff, and then you're just here to sign the contract at the end of the day.
Nice.
That's interesting. But in a lot of cases as well, the only way that the agent will get paid is if they land you a contract. So they want to do good. They want to get you the best contract possible.
Yeah, definitely. Like
most of the
usually
time.
they take
They take a percentage, so they're not
Yep.
like the more they get you, the more they get paid. So
definitely.
it's like
it's
a win-win. If they get you more money, they're not going to be like, just get him anything.
We call that skin in the game, baby.
That's
it's
right.
It's in their best interest to get you the best thing. So you like,
Yeah,
even
it's like a
us, like
win-win.
that was the best decision we made to get agents to find a new org, because I don't think we would have, like back then, like when Reciprocity went bankrupt and we had to find a new org, that was a tough situation. But I think that was still fun because we were still under contract and they could not release us, like, or they would have paid a lot of money. So they had to find a solution, right? And then they eventually did.
So it was more on them to find the solution than you guys even.
Yeah. But
if they were going to save themselves money, yeah.
Yeah, but for when we decided to from like to not I mean it's more complicated, but let's just say when we decided to leave PSG, that was a hard time. The thing is, we just won a major, and there were not actually a lot, like back then. The scene was pretty dry. Like they were not, today I think orgs are looking to Rocket League and be like, oh, maybe we can. I think there is more interest now than ever because
With
the
new season, yeah,
new format and stuff. Like they're looking into it, and there's a lot of new orgs that are probably interested into getting rosters. It's just they're just probably waiting to see, if there is new teams that can be picked up and stuff, because it's very different. So they're being careful with that. But like back then, after season 7, even if we were a major winner and a title contender for every tournament, like we were not having a lot of offers from big orgs. Like I was looking at threads and people were like, I hope this big org picks them up. We never actually were close to signing with a huge org, or it was not like not reasonable in terms of salary and stuff. So we had a lot of offers from smaller ish orgs like Reciprocity and stuff. We had other offers, but that was not as Rocket League back then was not as attractive as people were making it to be.
How important do you think it is on the content creation side as well? Like orgs aren't just looking at players winning, but looking at players how much they stream and make videos and stuff like that.
It makes sense, right? For the, because like that means they're not just dependent on your results. But it makes me a little bit sad because when you look at sports player in general, they don't have to do that, right? They can just focus on the gameplay. They can just focus on themselves and their training. And I feel like this whole burden of trying to get players to do content is I understand it from a point of view, right? And even if for like people in general, it's nice to have like pro players streaming and stuff. But it's a like you're asking them to do more than just playing at their best of their ability. Like you're asking them to do more than just practicing and performing at tournaments. You're asking them, much more like a bigger task. And the issue I have with it right now is like it's starting to get expected from players to stream and stuff. And I'm like, no, like some players like me, that we don't really like that, right? We just want to compete, right? We want to compete at the highest level. So I understand if my value is lower than players that push this kind of stuff forward, that put more effort into it. But I mean, at the end of the day, the reason why I'm having a contract in this organization is because I'm a professional player, because I'm good at the game, because I can, get the tournaments win. It's not because I'm a good streamer or anything. It's because of my performances on the field, not because of anything else.
Oh yeah,
So
for sure.
so I like the fact that we see more. For example, Space Station, they got content creators, right? They're not getting
they
their
got a
players to
few.
stream. Yeah, right. They got a
few.
lot, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
So like this is the like this is the way of thinking that I would rather have nowadays, because like you should have content creators and professional players, and maybe some of the players are content creators as well, but that should be on their own. time on their own. They're through their own choice, because there are a lot of contracts right now where orgs require players to stream and stuff, and I'm like, this is a distraction. If you want your players to play to the best of their ability, just let them do their thing. Don't force them to do anything they don't want to. And
yeah, it's a good point. I want to be mindful of time here. We are going pretty long. I wonder if you could talk. We have a finishing segment where we're going to ask you some questions, but before that, I wonder if you could talk about your current roster. We've talked about every other aspect of your Rocket League life besides your current roster. Can you talk about adding Astral to the team and what kind of impact that has had, and then also maybe like your recent performances?
I mean, yeah, obviously when we replaced Richie, we already had Astral in mind, right? And we pretty much knew he was going to be with us. We just had the contract issues to figure out, which were way harder than we thought, but we still made it. So yeah, so obviously, like, Astral, we knew he was a good player, like, for a long time. But the thing is, there were like question mark about his ability to perform under pressure and stuff. And should I say, oh boy, did he deliver, especially in season 9. Like, he was something else, and he's still something else. Like, I've honestly, like, the way he plays every day with us is just, it's unique, and it's very it's insane. Like, I don't think a lot of players can, dare I say, like, I don't think anyone on the planet can do what he does as good as he does. And it's very comfortable to have someone like that on your team, that can always pull the trigger and, like, make a huge difference, have a huge impact. And he sees things differently than we do. And there is some stuff he does extremely well that we never thought would be the way to do it. And it's interesting, even for us, from a player point of view, that we can learn from him. Obviously, I hope he also learned from us and our experience and stuff. And obviously, Shaw said has his own strength in his own ways. But yeah, like, we learned a lot just by being with him, because there is stuff he does that it doesn't seem to make sense at first glance, but actually, he's like, it's like way better and it improves gameplay. It improved the quality of our play and stuff. So yeah, it's been going great. Obviously, we didn't have the best. We had the worst results in the first regional, but we're still confident we are a top 3 team in Europe, or even better. So yeah, we're just looking to like, be more consistent. We're also looking at coaches right now. We are like trying out people. We are looking to improve our mental game above anything else. And yeah, I think things are looking extremely good. I would be very disappointed, obviously, if we do as bad as we did in the first regional in 2 weeks. But I also don't believe it's gonna happen. I think we are a better team now. We are, like, more solid. We are more. We got rid of the bad performance. We got rid of the hard losses. I guess we needed to get through it. And now we are a much more solidified team. And also, I think people vastly overestimate Astral's tilt.
Yeah.
He's extremely nice. He's just, he had a bad time with Dignitas, but with us, he's definitely been extremely nice, and he's always trying to do his best, and he's never he's never showing frustration to us or anything like that, and he's never tilting or anything. And I think it has to do with the environment. I guess he just likes to play with us more than he liked to play with Dignitas, or maybe there was some issues with Dignitas And I actually don't think that video that got the whole drama started should have ever been uploaded, but that's another story.
Yeah,
So.
kind of a weird decision, to be honest.
It was strange.
Yeah, he was still their
edited
teammate,
like
and
this, edited
Yep.
the way it was. It was weird. I was like,
because it just makes one player look the worst, and it's clear from that video to people that have a little bit of experience of working in teams of any sort that like, oh, there's some background here. This is not the first time that these guys have talked to each other this way.
Yeah, and like they back then he was still their teammate, right? They were still trying to get him back to be like, no, don't leave.
Yeah.
And I still decided to be like, let's just do this video to show
it
the
might
world.
even be worse than the Singularity benched announcements.
Yeah, definitely. Like I honestly think
it is worse. It is worse.
Video
it's worse. Yeah,
is extremely bad. But know,
yeah.
What's done is done, and now he's with us, and I hope he's happy. So.
Well, it's good to hear you say that as well, because we've talked about it as well, because we did the Salt Mine too, and he got a lot of hate for like some of like the very casual quick play kind of like
it was
quick
such
chat
great
banter.
I had so much respect for Astral for that. I don't know. I'm sure you agree, Matt.
Yeah, he wanted.
It was hilarious. He was like bringing out this really
awesome.
fun side. We were loving it. It was so entertaining. Like he was trying to get Khaled to respond, and Khaled didn't respond until the game was over. That's one of the craziest moments. One of my friends, who's not like a huge Rocket League fan or anything, he just like follows my stream because we're good friends since way before the game came out. He said that watching this, he's never been so riled up while watching an esport, because he was like, oh man, that move, like right at the end when Khaled just responds to the triple what save and leaves, he was like, holy cow, that's crazy. And if Khaled didn't, or if Astral didn't like set this up, it would never have happened. Like I like Astral's really the one to thank for this, because he's the one who started it all.
But you were pushing right, that that's why it's called Salt Mine, right?
Salt Mine,
totally.
We talked about it even before. We were like, I mean, yeah, if you want to do it, you should, right? It's like even you were like, I mean, people like players are like rightfully so.
Well, there was
allowed to quick shot, right? It's
there
it's
was
part
a
of the
great
game,
pass.
and
Khaled did a great pass. He hit the corner wall, and Astral is like that. He probably just got the temptation. He's like, "Oh, I should totally great pass him right now. I'm gonna do it."
It's part of the game, and it was not done in pure spite from Astral. It was just because it's once he's trying to he's trying to have fun, and also trying to get into his opponent's heads. He's trying to be like, I mean, if no things work, I might as well try to get into his head and tilt him.
He just beat him, I think, in the previous game. So he just won a game, and then the next game starts, and Khaled does like a terrible clear into the corner, and it turned into a pass to Astral. Basically, Khaled centered it, and Astral scored. And he's like, "Oh man, I'm just gonna hit him with a great pass right now. Maybe that'll swing it into a tilted version of Khaled, because I'm clearly like Astral is doing well. Khaled's not doing so well. They've got a bit of history. Like the first series they ever played. I don't know. You maybe you've seen it, Ferra, the one that they played last year's Salt Mine, where Astral was reverse sweeping Khaled. He'd won games 3. He lost the first 2 games in a best of 5. Then he won game 3, won game 4. Then he was 5-0 ahead in game 5. And everybody's like, holy cow, Astral's going to give Khaled his first ever loss. But then Khaled came back to win from 5 goals down. And then at the end of the game, Astral wrote in the chat, "You're the luckiest player I've ever seen." And that's like what started this rivalry between them, because he wrote, "You're so lucky" or something, and then he left the game.
Yeah,
but I guess a bit of fun, he's just like trying to go with this Salt Mine story, and people were like, "Oh man, that's like."
I guess he was also very frustrated. It's not something.
Of course,
100%, yeah.
But back then he was younger and stuff.
Oh yeah.
He's still super young. He's 17. It's like
dude, people don't realize like all of the pros are extremely can get extremely frustrated. You just don't see it because they're like. Some of us are extremely experienced, and we stopped doing it after we but even me, like I was a dick sometimes in ranked. Like sometimes I would say stuff to I would say stuff to my teammate. I was not nice to people back then, but you learn from it and you grow from it. And
but these are stories like the Astral stuff, so entertaining, right?
Yeah,
like he's so entertaining, because I don't know if he means to do it, but it's really entertaining.
That was sad when people went to his. Because even he was streaming and he had his voice and he was like, "Oh man, I mean that was a close one," but he was not feeling frustrated and stuff. you could see from his voice that the quick chat was just a fun
Just a bit of
thing.
fun, yeah. Just like
And
banter.
people went into his chat saying some awful stuff, and I was
really
pretty
awful.
bad.
Yeah.
was
So
pretty
I
bad.
think after when we were casting, like we kind of talked about it. We were checking in midway through the salt mine, and I think we even talked about it, Johnny. We were just like, I think we need to lay off this like astral tilt talks, like sort of like narrative, because it seems like it's also feeding into people thinking that he's really toxic and all this stuff. So I totally agree with you, Ferra, and yeah, just on the record, we think he's a great player, very entertaining. We think he did nothing wrong, and that the people that should be ashamed in this situation are the ones that were saying the awful things to him. So I hope he continues to get a chance to reform his image, if you will. I don't know. I mean, it's not like he's done something wrong, but just like I think it gets more of a chance to show himself to people, and people chill out. Just chill out, people.
I mean, I guess the bad is what's done is done. So right now people are always gonna bring this back. Even his past and stuff. The video and stuff. It's always gonna follow him for some time. So he just needs time, and he will grow with it, and he's good enough to keep going for years and years to come. So
I think there's a difference between like live stream stuff though, like what happened live, like he did all this live in the moment. I wasn't edited. I didn't edit this to make Astro look bad. It happened, he just like said that he typed this in chat, and I was like, oh, that's prime salt right there, and he's really lucky and leaves. Which, by the way, he made it through the lower bracket easily. Like he still qualified. Like he was fine. He wasn't tilted. He just lost, and he's like, oh, you're lucky you left. And then he came back. He won the next series easy and got in. He played like a more great series, but there's been like moments. There's been like Astro vs Khaled, Astro vs OSM, Astro vs Ixo. There's been like just a few moments in his ones career where he got like, I just can't be bothered with this anymore. He leaves early, and like he just had a bit of a reputation for leaving early, which I'm okay with, by the way. In ones, I've said this many times on my stream, and I've said this on my YouTube channel. Like, I don't mind people leaving early if they think the game's over. That's fine. It's 1v1. You're not letting anyone down. You're the only person there. If you want to leave, you can leave. So I think it's fine. But some people are just like, they don't like that. They're like, that combined with like this image that somehow Astro got from his threes career of being like a negative effect on like team comms or whatever. I don't know. Like, so people have this impression that Astro's like really.
But I guess it's
down, but I don't see that at all. Like, met him at BTS, super nice guy. Very like happy dude and very positive. People like being around him. So
I guess it's
a chance to show that, because that's who he really is, and people got to like definitely lay off. I think they have laid off, at least for now. I think people got it.
I mean, I guess the incident had people were realized that people were harsh to him. So it doesn't help, right? If people are constantly like that to you, obviously at some point you might crack. So
and good on him for speaking out and calling people out and saying, "Hey, how come you guys do this to me? This isn't fair." Like, it takes a lot of confidence to do that, because it's very easy to just try and act tough and be like, "I'm not affected by this." It doesn't bother me. Like, all these people are saying things, but I don't care. It's very easy to like act like that, especially as a guy, and especially as a streamer. But if it does affect him, obviously, 'cause we're all human. It's really big of him, and it's really admirable that he would speak up and call people out for like saying these things and saying, "Guys, this does affect me." Like, I have so much respect for Astro saying that.
We got to get him on the pod. We got to get him on the pod so we can have a long form, because I think that long form content with a player like that is good, so people can like feel them out, get to know their personality a bit more, and these sorts of things. Anyway,
none of it flipped to like, oh, we just got scored on. Here's a 5-second audio of how the team feels.
Before we reach the 3-hour mark here, let's head into the desserts. So this is something new we're adding to the pod here. Basically, just have some sort of like rapid fire questions for you, Ferra, that you can answer quickly, and then we'll let you be on your way. So have you ever heard of Marry Fuck Kill? Do you know MFK?
Yeah.
Okay, so we have a Rocket League version of that. Team Demo Q. So who would you team with? Who would you demo? Who would you queue with? And queue just means like play ranked with them. Like, no commitments. We're just going to play ranked together. All right. You're fun to play ranked with, but I would never team with you.
Okay. What does demo mean? Like
demo, it's like the kill. It's like a kill.
When you're against them, you want to demo. You're just like, oh, I'm just going to demo and bump this guy.
So there's Marry, there's fuck, and there's kill. Marry is team. fuck is Q, and then kill is demo. So it's just the person need demo, you know. So, all right. So, team BDS, team demo Q,
Demo Q, BDS.
The whole team.
Yeah, one of each.
There's 3 players, so you choose you choose one for each.
Team demo Q.
Okay, so I can't be like, oh, I mean, I'm team or this player or this player. No, I have to choose, right?
Yeah, one of each.
All right, team extra, Q, Mark, and demo monkey.
You heard it here, folks. Demo monkey moon.
All right, vitality.
Team vitality.
Team fairy.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Instant team
Yeah,
fairy.
because I teamed with him already, and I know that was great. And then
who's about to catch this demo? I think I know.
Me too. I've got a prediction here.
Q kid of demo alpha.
Thing is, though, I feel like if you ask anyone in Vitality this question, they'd probably all demo alpha. Anyone, they're all
probably.
Yeah, demoed every time we ask.
All right, well, guys, we got some NA for ones for you too. G2.
I don't know the guys as well, so it's hard. I'd say team. It's harder. Team JNAPS, Q Rizzo and demo Chicago.
Oh, the beef.
Ferra hates Chicago. Moving on.
No, not really.
I'm kidding. NRG.
Energy. Team Garrett. Q Justin demo squishy.
Okay.
Oh, you're about to get attacked by so many fanboys.
Yeah, here comes the fanboys.
Yeah, I'm taking risk. But who should have demoed then? Because there is fanboys for all of them.
It's true.
I can't win with this team.
That's true. That's our fault. We set you up there.
Yeah.
We set you up. What if you were gonna play another esport and like become a pro in another esport? What would it be? Or would you just not do that? Are you just like
no? I thought about League of Legends probably.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm not good, but I actually went to the World's Finals in Paris.
Me too. I was there.
Where you were?
Good times.
Yeah, that was a bad series, but good time still.
Yeah.
I like the. Maybe players do work a lot in this scene, but
you can support. They don't do anything, right? Just
but I feel like Rocket League does not have. Rocket League is a purely mechanical game, physical game.
Nobody's support.
There is no roles, there is no strategy, there is no draft, right? Like strategy has way less of an impact than
there should be draft though. We should draft and like ban Urban Knight.
Yeah.
And pick Wasteland. Oh, how could they pick Wasteland?
I really want to play in an I wish I would play in an esport that had this kind of depth in terms of strategy.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And
ban Fennec.
Yeah, this kind of stuff.
That's cool.
So yeah, I had League of Legends also because it's it's the biggest in the world. I'd say. So
cool.
Yeah.
Good answer. And a last question: is there anything that you'd want to say to CJ for nicknaming you the Airbus?
We already settled that down, I guess. At first, I was not really on board with it because I knew where it was coming. I was like, "This is gonna end."
Was it too real?
Yeah, maybe. But what I didn't want to is like people starting to take it. And I guess that's what ended up happening, because nowadays, it's a meme and people, if you were to ask people to rank people mechanically, they will put me literally last, even to Airbus players or like Bubble players or whatever.
Yeah.
And so, in a sense, people really misunderstood maybe what he meant by that. But at the end of the day, it made me good good meme for me, and a good good recognition. People know me more nowadays than they were before.
So demo CJ.
Yeah, demo
we're
CJ.
demoing CJ. Okay, cool. Well, I think that about does it. I mean, we've taken a lot of your time, and you're a pro gamer, so you probably got a lot of scrims to do yet tonight, and crazy ranked session or whatever.
Yeah, definitely.
But appreciate you coming on the podcast. It was great chatting with you. Ferra, great English confirmed. Was that bullshit in the interview on Grid? You're like, oh, my English is not good enough.
Nonsense.
It's not really good.
You just talked for 3 hours in English perfectly.
Perfectly. But I still have to put subtitles on when I'm looking at TV shows and stuff. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think lots of people do that.
Yeah. I'll say it's good enough the day I can consider myself, very extremely fluent and bilingual, let's say. But till then,
bilingual.
I am not.
Oh, you are easily.
No, otherwise I would not need subtitles.
No. Okay. Well, that's the. I mean, that's you know what that is. That's just exposure to like accents or whatever. That just takes time.
I'm from Scotland. I need subtitles to hear some other Scottish people talk because the accents are so crazy. Because I'm not able to speak English. It's just accents.
Anyway, yeah. Your English is great, man. You should not worry about it. It's fine if you want to get better. It's all good, but you don't need to worry about it. So anyway, that's gonna do it for us, folks. I'll do the little outro here. Johnny, thank you as always for joining. Ferra, good luck this week in the grid. Final. Yes, take us back to the finals, please.
We need to more content for your streams, right?
Exactement. Très bien. Okay. Thank you, boys. Thanks for listening to the Saltcast. You can find all the episodes, links to the YouTube and Twitch, and everything else you need in your life at my site, smelly.af. Head over there and I'll see you in the chat for the next show.